Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as always, when I say those words, you know what time it is. It is time for another episode of From the Sideline. Hatch, we got a special episode. I'm gonna bring you in early this episode because we gotta talk about something before we bring in our other host today. Hatch, brother, what is today's episode of From the Sidelines represent?
I don't know, man. Maybe the fact that it's been 2 years since we first created this wonder child of a creation, you know?
I mean,
dude,
you're already speechless, but that's just how much it means. Because, dude, it is crazy when you think about it. 2 years of getting, every week you're tired, whatnot, just getting on the pod, shooting the shit with the guys, and creating a new podcast episode.
Going through multiple hosts at the beginning, dude. Rocky.
Multiple hosts at the beginning, but we made it through episode 104, and along the way we picked up our secondary co-host, he's been here since episode 19, 20, one of those two. So
17, I think he said.
17.
Was it
okay.
17?
Oh no, 20.
20?
Okay. You're wrong.
20.
Shut up. But until 120, you're still just gonna be, or 124, you'll still just be less than us. But it's okay. For now, you can talk. Brando Baird, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, we're here. I was thinking about it. I tried to go back and listen to earlier episodes this morning, and dude, it's rough. God damn it, that was rough.
Yeah, we weren't great. We did not do a good job until about 50. That's when I feel like we really hit our peak.
Yeah, you really came along the past 2 years.
Not our peak, our stride. We're still peaking. We're constantly peaking.
Yeah, we're far from our peak.
We're just far. Edging. We're getting there.
Yeah, we got to get to at least 4 hours per episode, and then we're reaching our peak.
All right, guys. Well, with that peak, we got to talk about our three sponsors who've helped get us to this point along in the journey. We have Liquid IV, who have been with us, pretty much the whole entire time. Liquid IV. Head over to liquidiv.com. Use promo code Mafia_Mafia. You're gonna secure 20% off and get free shipping. Grab that extra bag, Brandon. Oh my God, is he out? Okay, he has one in there too, so we're good to go. Brandon makes one every single episode of the show, and he loves the flavors. They have the sugar-free and the regular flavors available on the site. So if maybe you're keto, you're watching your diet, something like that, they have an option for you as well. You can check out the product, like I said, check out all the great ingredients that are involved with it. It's a great hydration multiplier. It's going to keep you boosted up and hydrated, whether you're out at the field, maybe you drank too much the night before, maybe you just need some more hydration because it's 115 where you live and it won't ever stop getting hot every single goddamn day, Sacramento. But if you need that, liquidiv.com, promo code Mafia_Mafia, save 20% and get free shipping. Thank you to our friends over at Liquid IV. We also have a NECTR Energy. I have one in right now. It's keeping me boosted and ready to go for the show. We got the great little energy pouch from NECTR. It looks like a little Zyn or something along those lines, maybe a tobacco or nicotine product, but it doesn't have either of those two ingredients in it, just caffeine and a neurotropic. So it's gonna, like I said, keep you buzzed up a little bit, keep your brain going, keep everything going, and just going. Right, Hatch? We're gonna be going.
Going, dude. Going. No stopping. All gas, no break.
We love the guys over there. Head over to NECTR.energy. That's where you're going to go to check out their awesome product. All their flavors are available on the site as well. And you can use code MafiaProductions, just all one word, MafiaProductions, to get a buy two, get one free at their site. Thank you to the boys over there. They've been with us for like midway of the time. And then our newest sponsor, who's been with us the shortest amount of time, but we still appreciate them as much as our other ones, is Welts Clothing. WeltsClothing.com. They've got all your awesome apparel options down there. Yep, there you go. Change the hat. You mess up every week. But weltsclothing.com, founded and run by Scott Stewart and a couple other guys down in Texas. They do some great things and make some cool limited edition pieces. So check it out. Every first Wednesday of the month, you're going to get some more options available over there. Promo code FTS is going to save you some money at checkout with them. So, all right, those are our three sponsors. Thank you to them. They've been, they've been with us most of the way, getting to this point of 2 years on the show. All right, guys, without further ado, let's start our 2-year episode with our special guest. We're excited to have him on. Let him talk his shit a little bit. We'll see what comes out of that. But we have, I can't say enough good things about him. A positive player, a positive role model in our community. Some people would say, maybe some heat recently, but don't let that take away from the past. Chad Yaya Bouchez, the Leopard King. He's on the show with us. Man, how are you doing? How's your Tuesday going so far?
I cannot complain, and I just want to say that was one hell of an introduction that I don't think I've ever seen it like that good. So the guy who does the ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to rumble thing, he might have some competition right there. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, Bruce Buffert or Bruce Banner or something. Yeah, him and his brother, they do the UFC and the fighting respectively. Great family genes over there. I have to try to get into that spot one of these days, but until then, we have a podcast to do, and in this podcast, Chad, we're talking to you, man. I mean, first and foremost, where did this whole journey begin? You're sitting with us now and from the sidelines, but at some point way back in the day, someone handed you a paintball marker and you first started shooting people with it. Where did that happen?
I got the comment. I went to the birthday party, paintball birthday party, and it kind of picked up a gun. It was actually my birthday party, and all my friends did it before I did, and they were talking me into it. And then, it was actually in an old, like a old car warehouse that was actually in like an indoor paintball, because I grew up in the Midwest. So my birthday's in December, so playing in obviously the winter, it's always indoor. And there wasn't very many at the time, but I was lucky enough to have one just right down the road from where I was, and it was sweet. And I actually still remember this day exactly when I started and everything else. And I got to play with all my friends at my birthday party, and I still talk to someone about it now. And that was in 2001, 2002, and I've just been going ever since then.
Dang.
It is funny how cliche the birthday party trope is, because you hear it all the time, but
It's classic.
I mean, it's how I got into paintball. It's
too.
how a lot of people got into paintball. It's just, it's funny because that's a common theme you hear from a lot of people, whether it's, guys who are pro now, guys who have been in the media side or in just the other industry side of it. It all started with, a random birthday party or something. Paintball, kind of building off that, it's a very, it's a community thing. It's a family thing. Where for you was that kind of first, okay, I got a team, I got into paintball, this is awesome, we're starting to grow, we're starting to get better. When was that kind of starting to develop?
I was 12 years old, and I started playing on a team at 13, 14 years old. And I still remember in 2002, I remember I had this guy, he played for a team called Chaos, and he actually asked me, he's like, hey, can we talk to your parents about you going to World Cup? So 2002 was my first tournament, national tournament, which is obviously, if a lot of people know the history of 2002 World Cup, then they know, that was a sniper incident and everything else. And that was where, it was at the cow pasture, where recently we've had one of the NXL events, but at the same time, you had golf carts, you had craziness of 12 fields shaped like an L, you had a backside of the woods, and it was one of the sniper incidents with Jeremy Salm and Avalanche. But
Black
paintball's kind of
DM
grown.
Matrix, right? Wasn't that the gun of choice?
Yeah, I believe so. So, and the crazy part is, I've lived with Jeremy Salm, and is one of my best friends, and I don't get to talk to him as much as I used to, but at the same time, he's told me that whole story and everything else, and it's kind of wild because I was there just as a kid. So it's to live that and have that those guys on my wall was crazy.
Yeah, no,
That's
definitely.
awesome, dude. Seriously.
I mean, to fill in a little bit, maybe if you're new into paintball, 2002, it was Avalanche, right? Who was playing? Jeremy was. He was on the roster, or
Jeremy's the captain of the team.
Yeah, so
and that's the thing, is Jeremy's always been a captain, so it's or he's always been a good leader. So he kind of took the bite for it, but he just definitely decided to make a decision for the team. And
so I guess my question, not having the full history, why was he not playing in that game? Or did he already get eliminated and then just say, fuck it, run to the pits and try to make some stuff happen?
There's actually a documentary on it, I believe, that John Amendola does.
Okay.
Yeah. He talks about he admits, hey, all the guys knew and everything else, hey, they walked the field and they knew that hey, one side of the field is was on, that's kind of hence why now in the NXL it's covered by 4 nets, and he kind of changed the game that way too. He put his mark on it in history, but at the same time the game was lawless at the time, and he went, hid in the woods, was shooting players and kept shooting players. And then there was a guy named Mr. U, if you guys know who that is, and he was playing for Ground Zero at the time and ended up chasing him down the woods and catching him. So yeah, craziness, but at the same time, it was a wild one. Yeah,
caught red-handed. There's kind of a similarity there with some of the early days of NASCAR, where they had a very, if you're not cheating, you're not trying mentality, where it almost more so became I look down on you for not trying to cheat me in a match, because that means you don't take me seriously. Like, and you know, everyone is so competitive, so tight. We're all trying to find, you know, if you twist your barrel a little bit, that gets you 5 feet extra, you know, feet per second. Like, the little things were always brought out because it was trying to find every edge you could.
Absolutely.
I feel like a lot of the things with cheating, it's like, you know, with if you ain't cheating, you're not trying. Like, the one thing that I've learned definitely playing, you know, in the higher divisions, where people will fucking cheat you, no problem. People won't even blink, won't even flinch and cheat you.
So to comment on that, it's the thing is like my first pro team that I ever played with, and like where we grew up in the Midwest was like the Badlands. So I played for Afshock, and Jeremy actually was the coach at the time. Granted, like, he didn't really have a lot to do with it, like with you know, the cheating on Afshock, but at the same time, because the game had evolved from there, from like the whole woods and everything else to 10-man and everything, but like in the XL, but like even my first practice with Afshock, it was like, I remember 2 guys, Blake Pruitt and Speedy, like they got in a fist fight, and like in the middle of the field, in the middle of a game, and people were cheating, and it was just like, it was wildness, and it was like that was the mentality. Like, if you weren't cheating, you weren't trying. So that's kind of how I started, and I was like 19, 20 years old, and I was just like, man, like, this is how it is. And I thought for like the longest time it was, until Houston was created, like I thought the game was like supposed to be like that.
Yeah, so, just that Midwest gritty attitude, you know, go out there and inflict more pain than they can handle.
Yeah, that's why a lot of times I tell people, like a lot of people think they're tough in paintball and things like that, but it's not even that I'm tough. It's just the fact that like some people backing in, or some people are getting in it, and like everybody that I ever met on that team, like they were getting in it and they were about it, because that's just how we were taught. Like, if you weren't getting in it, then you weren't part of that team. Well, so it's kind of crazy.
Agreed.
Yeah, I also find this funny too, because this is something I hear a lot. You know, everyone talking about overshooting nowadays, and you know, 10.5, we're overshooting. Chad, how many times would be like an average, just like, oh, you got me, back in the day when you guys are shooting 22 balls per second or whatever craziness was going on?
Well, it wasn't 22 balls. It definitely, like, Halo loaders could definitely do that with some Angry boards or some Odyssey boards and things like that. I was
gonna say, it wasn't 22 balls. Bob Long's whole team wants to talk to you, because they were all shooting that fast with those Timmies, man.
He was a mad scientist with that stuff, and it was just like, and he had some of the best guns, but it was like, it was just crazy, because at the same time, it was just like, man, if you weren't getting blown up at, like, I remember when it even slowed down to 15 balls a second, people thought like that was slow, and then it went to 12, and now it's at 10, and I'm just like, wow, like, it's crazy to think that guys could run through lanes, and like, it was actually meant for like a bigger guy could play the game back then more than now, because you truly have real athletes that they can run through anything. So it's like, shit.
Yeah, good luck hitting ABJ off the break. It's just hard to do. Like, he's
fast.
Yeah, like, he's fast. You know, and yeah, maybe you'll get a good shot, but you have to do that consistently over 6 breakouts. He's probably going to get there a couple of those.
Kicks in, and hopefully it kicks in quicker than he does, because he's fast. And you got Keith Brown, Alex Coleman. Shit.
I had to go for my NorCal boy, but yeah, there's a lot of guys in the league who, you know, they'll take advantage of it.
Is he from Northern California out there?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's true. Actually, I knew that because I remember when he played a little bit with Aftermath.
Oh, okay. Aftermath, but I know he played with Semi-Pro's Excessive Line. He actually, I know he was playing like Hatch. Wasn't he playing D3 not all that long ago? Like, he wasn't your teammate or at some point?
He was my D3 teammate. Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Sure. He's a freaking beast, dude. Raw athlete, serious talent.
Oh, he's truly special.
Yeah, and
he's humble. That's the thing I like about him. He's humble.
I was gonna say, mentally,
Keith Brown,
great
he's
guy
humble.
Too.
Like, there's a lot of guys that are that good and that fast, and you know, you look at them and they just have a chip on their shoulder with their dickheads, and you're just like, man, I don't want to be this guy's friend. But he's humble, he's nice, he's still growing in the sport, he's open to, like, you know, criticism and things like that, and it's good. It's because that's what you need. So
yeah, I love when Archie comes out to Capital Edge, and you know, we're just running like mixed fives with him. And he's an overall good player and just a good friend overall, you know.
Yeah.
So I like that guy a lot.
Speaking of paintball history type subjects, something I always like to ask if I, you know, get a chance to talk to guys from the past is kind of, you know, former teams, maybe events that they've been a part of. A big one that you were, you know, a part of, and, you know, we could say that it was memorialized in time. We talked to one of your teammates about it when he was on the show. But that Aftershock team winning in NPPL Vegas to kind of end out the NPPL essentially. What was kind of your recollection of that time? What stands out to you from that event looking back now? And yeah, I guess, you know, take it away.
Yeah, you're gonna love this one actually. So I'm the one who brought Randy Smith to Aftershock and everything else because, he got a hold of me through another guy named Ian Martin. We connected by playing CXPL together. And then, he had his son and like his kids that were at one point Distortion. I put Ronnie on the team with Distortion. John Woodley, we ended up like picking him up. Sam Monville and I were coaching them. We were both on Aftershock at the time. We were going back and forth from CXPL and Aftershock, and then they had their team, and then he wanted to play 7-man pro. Aftershock at the time wasn't like literally, and this is actually what helped create Houston Heat, which is crazy. We had a CXPL event, and not a lot of people actually know this story, but with Aftershock, we actually had a practice before. I believe it was like a New Jersey event, and the field's actually not even there anymore. It was the one that was next to Six Flags in New Jersey, Trenton, New Jersey, Top Gun. And before the event, we had to be at practice, but then Randy's like, hey, I'll bring the whole team up to Canada. We need to play this event because if you didn't qualify or didn't have enough guys on the roster, then you didn't qualify for like what they called NACS, which was like the final event in Canada. Well, Randy like offered like the whole situation for Aftershock and everything else. Well, Randy needed us to play at the Badlands because that's where all the division teams came. Hence why at the time Aftershock was so shit because all we did was play divisional teams. And not now, but at the same time, like that was like his mentality and everything else with the Badlands. And I was like, hey, this guy does a lot for us. I'm not gonna like stick him like that. And at the same time, Matt Blonsky called me from the Russian Legion and asked me to come try out. Well, if I wouldn't try it out for another team, then I was going to X-name myself from Aftershock. So in the time being of going to Trenton, New Jersey, I told the guys, hey, I know I'm going to get cut if I go try out for a team, but it was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. The Russians were Fedorov, Mishka, Matt Blonsky, Justin Rabakov, Kirill. Sarah played on the team at the time.
This was pre-Art Chaos, or I'm trying to get my timeline right.
Yes, okay. 2011. 2011
it was the
before
old school Legion when they were. Okay.
And this all retracts back to that whole Chicago Aftershock 7-man first win and everything else.
Yeah.
And because I X-named myself, I didn't get to play the last event with Aftershock, which they won. So that was like at the time in 2011. I knew what Randy's plans were because we were working on like creating a team, and he'd asked me several times like, hey, don't worry about the name and everything else. But I left Aftershock to go try out with the Russians. I didn't want Randy to get screwed over and have us not go to NAC. So I did end up going to like do the things with Randy and everything else. Like, and I didn't even know actually where my pro career was even going to go at the time because I'd already been on Aftershock for 4 years. I was like, hey, this guy's been great to us. Like, I'm not going to screw him over. I knew I was going to go try out the Russians, so I went and did that, played the NACS event. And some of those guys who didn't show up for Randy and everything else, they still ended up playing the 7-man event. And I didn't because obviously I left. But at the same time, all that led to me not making the Russians. But then about 6 months later, me still connecting with the Russians and taking Konstantin Fedorov, Mishka, and Sergey. Malloy was actually supposed to be there as well. But it's kind of funny how it all trickles together because I didn't win the NPPL with those guys. And I was super proud of them because Drew Templeton, John Woodley, Nick Sloviak, like some of those guys are still all my best friends. They all won, but I had to sit at home and watch them like win all their first like pro tournament, but I didn't. And if you actually watch, there's an Eclipse video that Dan Napoli did, and I actually left the team at the time. And I thought I made a huge regret and everything else, but I ended up being the one who drove up, talked to Nick Sloviak, told him, hey, you need to leave here, and we're starting this team called Houston Heat, and I got these Russian guys, and we're gonna make it all happen. And it just ended up spawning out the way it did, and now it's history in the making. So
yeah, no,
I don't think very many people actually know that story. Actually, you guys might be the first ones to put that one on there.
It's an interesting insight for sure, because we've talked about One Night in November a lot. We've had Dan on the podcast. Yeah. That's definitely one of my favorite pieces from him, just because how the story kind of culminates in the end. But that is interesting to know, because in my head, you were on that roster in Vegas, but that's okay. So it was right before that you kind of went your own way.
I played Huntington Beach, Chicago, and a few in the DC event and everything else, and I actually ended up playing the rest of the season with Indianapolis Mutiny, which we had a great finish and everything else for them being a team at the time for 7-man or pro 7-man. And I had to watch all my best friends win a pro event, and I thought I made a mistake, but at the same time, like, I still trusted in the process. I still trusted in Randy Smith, and he told me he wanted me to be a part of it, but at the same time, I still had my ways and everything else, and just went on my way and started creating Houston Heat.
I think I think an interesting question to kind of bounce off that with is, you obviously been in paintball for a very long time, and you've been towards the higher parts of paintball for, I mean, a decade now at this point, or we're getting close to that. Where, you know, when you were saying 2002 was your first World Cup, that World Cup to, let's say, last year's World Cup, you know, in your mind, obviously things are gonna be different from, you know, going from being a kid to growing up now, but what do you think the big major differences are from those old events that we used to have to kind of what, you know, Tom and the NXL are putting on today? If there is any, I mean, it doesn't have to be something, but I was just interested by that.
It's night and day. How organized things are, and what people don't realize, like, and I was just at an event last weekend, like, just from, you know, what Tom does for the NXL, and a lot of people talk a lot of shit and everything else, but they forget in 2020 when nobody had any events or anything else, they were begging for tournament paintball, right?
Yep.
And something people don't realize too is like why we had to have 2 events in Florida was because it was so expensive on the mere fact of like moving everything from World Cup to Las Vegas and then back to like the next event. But we also didn't know that Nevada was even going to shut it down for COVID. But so we couldn't run an event or have an event like for anything after 2020 Las Vegas, right? Mm-hmm. But like back to answer your question, the World Cup, what it is now and how truly elite it really is something that, you know, people can't even put their hands on. And it's like where like the sponsors, the amount of like people that are enjoying paintball, the people that come from all over the world. And like when you win a World Cup now, like especially in the last like 10 years, it truly is elite because it's a special moment. And I'm not saying like anything to take anything away from the last guys that won it from 2003, like when the Philly Americans won it, or, you know, even 2002 when like Tom Martinez beat Dynasty and then shot all of his best friends and then they won the World Cup. But I'm saying like what it's gone to from there, yeah, it was a huge party and everything else. It truly is special because there's so many athletes that are truly elite at this game right now and like what we've created. And we don't even know if really this is like the way we're supposed to play the game, but we're like, still like, I look at it as still a trial mode because we don't know, right? It's still somewhat young and everything else, but what Tom has put together, what Jason Trozen does for the NXL, you know, a lot of people don't know there's a guy named Fatty that helps and he's there 2 weeks in advance. What he does for the NXL, Randy Smith, Bart, and those guys, they all, it's truly special because it puts things on another level where we just went to an event and something that Tom helped set up, and you know, so did Bart and Randy, where it's like now what do we just announce August 5th that there's on ESPN again for paintball, and it's like shit, we went from not having anything, playing in the cow pasture and not getting staph infection to truly elite people putting GoPros on their heads and seeing exactly what that player's thinking and playing at the same time to, you know, the game's faster, the guns might be slower but the game's faster, so it's like it's crazy.
Definitely. I love that tagline. Actually, HK, we got to use that because, I mean, that is kind of the perfect way of how the game's grown. You know, the guns may be slower. We're not shooting 20 balls anymore. But, I mean, yeah, everyone is just, it's so much quicker. Everything is happening. You know, we talked with Jordan Boyan. We've talked with some other pros. Joe Barrett mentioned all this too. It's just everything is so quick. Like it doesn't matter how long you've played in semi-pro. When you come up and make that kind of that first change, it's like it's just such a quicker game. And it's funny because you hear that about football, you hear that about basketball, and it's, you know, you kind of see now how those sports can change that much through ours because there is a difference. You know, just mentally everything is happening a lot quicker on the field.
100%, exactly what you just said is mentally, because you have to think about it. It's not just a window of like if you get a lucky ball on somebody or anything else. And I mean, this is nothing to take away from anybody in divisional or anything else, because like divisional paintball is truly growing like to become exactly like to bring pro paintball to another level. Like I just watched a 17-year-old kid, like 2 of them last weekend. I was like, man, I think they're getting faster the more they're playing. They're on their 7th match. And I'm like, shit, I don't know if I can do that. But at the same time, like what semi-pro is right now, it's like you said, it's just a mental game of how they're taking the information in. There's nobody that's showing them what's right or wrong. They're only doing what they've experienced or anything else. There's nobody truly down there like being like, hey, this is how you need to think type of thing, right? I honestly wouldn't even have changed my mentality of how I looked at so many things, or even when I was building Houston Heat, if it wasn't for Tim Montrezor. Like I had somebody to help guide me. Jeremy Salm, Jason Trozen, even Greg Pauly was my coach at one time. And I never thought about any of that stuff until one day I was sitting there and I was like, man, like this game is truly different. But the problem is in semi-pro, you don't have somebody teaching people like that, right? Like I talked to Ryan Brand on the day, and it's like he is truly special because of what he's done with X Factor, but people don't know all the shit that he does outside of that other than just coaching for that team. But like you said, it's a mental game that what people have to, how they think. And that's why I tell people all the time that like Archie, Alex Goldman, Federer, Tyler Harmon, like Mishka, Justin Rabikov, how these guys think in the game, it's natural to them, but they've been taught things that nobody else even understands. And that's the difference in the game. It's not just shooting your gun and hoping that these little X-ball babies have machine guns that just ramp and everything else and they can run around. It's what they think outside of that, how they deal with situations and how they play chess in their mind. And that is truly special.
And I think, you know, some of the legacy of players who have survived through all these different format changes, I think that's what helps keep them around and keep them at the top level, because now it's not just playing X-Ball or playing Hyperball, it's I play paintball. You know, I understand when I'm in a 2v5 gunfight or, you know, whatever the situation is, I know what I have to do to potentially win that. And that 100%. Just starts to translate over, you know, it doesn't matter if it's corrugated metal or, you know, air tubes, it's all the same.
That's truly why I feel like Dynasty has like done so well since 2020 or since 2019 even, is the fact that like it's not just about, and like some of those guys are still raw athletes, but how their mental game is and how the game has changed for them is they can still do it all. Like Yosh, and like it's not like Yosh goes to the gym every day and is like, you know, like on top of the game, but he's still so smart at the game and he's such a good teammate that guys still want to win for him, so they give it their all, but they're right there on top of it every single day. And it's just like it's easy for them because that's what they faced.
When I was going to say outside looking in, I think 2020 actually, you know, was helpful for a lot of those guys, not just the Dynasty guys, but guys in general who've been in the game for a long time, because it took it away. It said, hey, here's this thing you've done since you were 10. You don't get to do it for this year. And for a lot of those guys, that was probably the first time where it was like, well,
think about
I
this
just
too.
Can't now.
Yeah, and think about this. In 2020, how many teams, like a lot of teams that fly guys in and things like that, they couldn't do that. They didn't get together. And it was like Dynasty was together. And then, you know, by the time they got the World Cup, like those guys felt on point because in California, they could still do that. It was an outside thing. And it was like, California was super strict, you guys know.
It was rough.
And yeah,
but at the same time, funnily enough, paintball was like the coolest thing because they were like, hey, you're outside, you're away from people. All right, whatever, go for it.
That's what truly made me believe that paintball, like through anything with the economy or anything else, because in 2008 it was a luxury sport where it costs a lot of money for people to come and play the game that we all love so much. But at the same time, it was like, man, like if it can make it through COVID, like a world crisis and everything else, and how like the detriment of like
and
everything
honestly,
that we faced.
Expand during COVID.
Paintball
grew. Yeah,
it grew. Yeah, and like I mean that's where the Leper King was developed. When 1-on-1s and everything else, like I had to come up with a character and make people like I had to do Conor McGregor of
WWE,
go play 1-on-1s. Yeah, and literally I was just like, you know what, like I have to take this moment and like go run with it, because at the same time, like whoever knew if I was ever going to get a chance again. Luckily, it has gone like this far and everything else, but shit, like it was crazy.
Yeah, definitely a wild time.
I remember when COVID happened, you had to, at least for us, you had to be like invited to the field where it's like, hey, this is the weekend we're going to have it because, you know, we're not supposed to be in business.
Yeah.
You know, everybody come up with your lights off, pay cash. All right, boys, we got to do what we got to do to support the community, right? We're a community.
One credit card swipe takes you out of business.
Yep, right. We just gotta make sure everything's raw.
IRS financial accountants on it instantly.
Well, and a lot of people don't realize this either. Is like it wasn't just like in America, but like you got guys like that went back to Russia. Like when Mishka and Fedorov went back to Russia, like they wasn't just like, this is why I love America so much. I get it. It was very strict and everything else, and it was a rough time, and people were dealing with a lot. They went back to their country. They couldn't leave their house. Like they literally, the police would come and check on them to make sure that if they were traveling, that they were home for X amount of time at their house. Like they would go and make sure that like they didn't leave or they didn't go and do anything else. And it was like, we just kind of like, we were lucky to say that we went to the grocery store.
I would say it definitely depended on where you lived, because
correct.
Dude, in California,
in Russia and everything else.
I'm gonna be honest, like it was pretty locked down for for like a year and a half probably. But at the same time, if you were in Florida during that same time frame, it was
the armpit
do
of
whatever
America.
the fuck you want.
Yeah.
So like it kind of depended where you were. So
hence,
I mean,
hence why the NXL was able to run the first event in Vegas, but then
had to
go
go back
Cup
to
still
Florida
because of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And during that time, I also had another production event that was like outside of paintball in Florida. All right, we're flying to Florida. That's the only place we could work. But yeah, countries like Australia, New Zealand, like there were some others that for almost 2 full years, it was like you get to go and buy groceries and then you go home and then you don't do anything. And it's like, that was probably fucking miserable after a certain point.
Yeah. But, you know, I'm grateful that the game it's a great point you brought up there where that it survived COVID. And, you know, think about it like this, dude. A lot of businesses did not survive COVID. there are a lot of places that really did have to, shut down, that were like family grown and actually were succeeding businesses, but COVID was just too stressful of a time financially to where they had to finally shut the doors, and you're kind of like shit out of luck.
Well, and a large portion of those were small businesses too, family owned, like, little spots. And that's what a majority of paintball fields are. There's no big corporate owned paintball field. So it was cool to see this community kind of support our own infrastructure and like, all right, I would need this field to be here in 2 years. I would like them to still be here. So yeah, all right,
we want to play paintball.
If
the paintball field shuts down, where are you going to play paintball?
That was a good point.
Dude,
no one else has a compressor.
Online. Yes, so many people I watch online just pick, I want the events back. But before, I just remember watching the go keyboard warriors, everything else, just always talking shit about the events, always shitting on Tom and everything else. And all of a sudden it was like, now you have nothing. Like now you're left literally with your dick in your hand. And you're like, what are you going to do now? And it was like, oh, I can't wait till the NECTR comes back. And it was like, it wasn't good enough before, but now we wish we had it again. And that's what truly made people be like, hey, you know what? Like these guys have it going on. And we pulled an event off. Like the NXL had a World Cup, and it was just, what do we have, the biggest World Cup last year ever? Like known to man, it was like 750 some teams.
And I think
it was like
it eclipsed the event that was the year before it. So it just every year it's been growing bigger and bigger.
I feel like every year it's like the statistic, oh, this year's the biggest World Cup ever, just because every World Cup it really does get bigger.
Yeah.
So because it's like legitimately at the point where sometimes it's almost like crowded. I'm signing up for registration. I'm like, damn, these motherfuckers are right next to me.
Well, I mean, the last 2 years we've ran out of parking at that Kissimmee location where it's like, just gotta Uber in. Sorry, bro.
Which is crazy because it's like shit. Like if we're out of parking, it's like okay, like that means. But like you think about it, like every vendor that's going, every food vendor and everything else, it's like.
All of us media guys who get there at 5 a.m. and then, we take the front parking spot and then we don't leave until 7. So yeah, fuck everyone else. We get good parking.
That's why you use a U-Haul, bro. If you use a U-Haul, it's way less trips.
I will say for the Texas event, I was staying with Rye Guy, and we showed up so early 2 of the 3 days that we legit stayed in the paint truck area because there was just no one to block it off. So we just, all right, open parking spot, slide right in, and then just literally had the closest parking spot. But that's what happens when you get to the field at 5:25, 5:30 a.m.
Dude, get in where you fit in, bro. It's like it's a different sport alone for the NXL parking, right? Nobody really wants to.
That's a
nobody really wants to be like,
of itself.
hey, are you leaving? Are you leaving? And puppy guard a spot. People are just like forks. It's waiting for them to pull out. But
just gotta eat that VIP. Pay Tom his money.
Exactly right. Fuck pulling out.
There, he's got it. Pay Thomas money. I like it.
Pay the man's money. All right, Brando. Do you have anything for our guest tonight, brother?
Yeah, man.
You speak. I like it. Let's go.
He has a habit of that.
I'm feeling good about it.
From time to time, yeah. You and Sarge, came together to create Houston Heat and pull players and everything to make the team. Now, throughout all the years, you've been pretty much the GM, right? How's that been? Trying to pull more pieces together, bring more pieces to the team to.
Are we talking about recruiting
the team?
We're talking about college football recruiting. I'm gonna put a pin in that. And I'll talk about that later.
Okay.
I will say this, and this is actually okay. So I do exactly that, right? And I bring him a million suggestions and everything else, and he's taught me this over the years and everything else. And I come to him about certain people every single year. We have arguments about it. We have conversation about it. Then we become it becomes literally an agreement to how we go about things. But he's always teaching me things, and sometimes I don't even realize he's doing it. But now that I'm getting older, I see how much he's actually taught me. He put me in this position, because it wasn't like that he didn't just know anybody or anything else, and it just wasn't just about money. But it was like, hey, we can go buy any single player we want, right? We can get as many people and whoever it is we want and everything else, but he's like, you have to have the right guys to gel and to make sure it works. And I'm like, no, when you get this guy, when you get that guy, this guy does this. And he's always like, listen, you need to take a deep breath, take a step back and realize you're letting your emotions get in front of what's going to be good for this team. And that's how it was at the beginning. And, I was like, hey, we can get this guy and this guy. And originally, like I said before, we had 4 Russians on the team. And, Malloy actually was on the team originally, but he just actually didn't end up getting on his the first flight. he ended up staying with the Russians. They agreed to take his little brother on and train him as well, like he was. So he didn't show up on the flight that we actually purchased for him. But at the same time, it taught us a lesson. Like, hey, you know what? Just because they said they're coming doesn't mean they're really coming.
Valid.
And I'll put another one out there, and like a lot of people know about it now. And I actually pulled an April Fool's joke on him just a couple of years ago about it. Is we had Alex Coleman, and he agreed to it and everything else, and he just said he couldn't do it, and he couldn't leave or anything else, and it sucked because like he's one of my best friends, and I think Alex Coleman truly is elite. He truly would take Houston Heat to another level. I think he's a great athlete. I think he's at any given Sunday can win you a paintball tournament. Hands like on his own fucking back, he will do that, and he's a great player. It's a guy that I still wish would have played on Houston Heat, and I'm not like fight about it or anything else. And I love Alex, and I think that like he truly makes your team different. But at the same time, like Randy's like, hey, listen, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like you can't get like, and I've learned a lot about too. You can't get too connected to the fact that like just because you want something doesn't mean it's gonna be great for the team. Somebody who I'm very happy that I recruited and trusted me and everything else is someone like Tyler Harmon and Konstantin Fedorov. Tyler is, in my eyes, any day can be the #1 paintball player in the world. If he's not #1, he's #2. And like to be that guy and how I classify guys and how I see guys and how they read fields and everything else is just like he truly is amazing. And it's like, you know, having that position where he trusts me to be like, hey, like if you want to leave Dynasty and come to Houston Heat, like the opportunity's there. And you know, I watched Tyler for a long time. He's special. I mean, he went pro when he's what, 12 years old?
Yeah.
From Northern California.
He just has that
like,
gene,
playing for
the
Bob.
clutch gene.
like the dude knows like how to win, and it's just like he puts everything on his back.
I do want to stop in there with the Tyler pick, because I think that is kind of, you know, it's something that in 2024 paintball, yes, Tyler Harmon plays for Houston Heat. You know, that's just kind of the norm. But when you guys picked him up, that was weird. It was a huge shock, dude. Because, you know, historically, Tyler's played in blue for a long time. Yeah, no, definitely. And in that first year, I think you guys picked up that event in the Dirt Ball Open in Pennsylvania. Yeah,
it's actually the last one we've actually won in the history of Houston Heat. We've never went more than a year without winning, and right now this is our longest streak without winning. Every time we practice and everything,
it's so competitive in the top 20 division right now.
As hard as it is to swallow and everything else, like we're talking about a team that just came into the pros 2 years ago, the New England Hurricanes, and they were in the finals. They had a chance to win the finals in Las Vegas, and it was just like shit. Like everybody's biting at like literally at your heels, and it's like shit. Like what do we do to stay competitive? What do we do to become better? And it's like there's so many questions, but when I look at Tyler and I have people like him, Konstantin Fedorov, Ryan Moorhead, Chad George,
Connor. I think that's another great pickup. Yeah,
I mean, I got a DM of the word for that one too. Like that kid, I'll tell you what, I must have a knack for just picking dudes that I not that I just like, but at the same time, like I'm gonna toot my own horn here, but Connor is fucking sweet. Like he's a good kid, and he's young, and he hasn't been playing paintball that long. And like I remember when I was talking to him, I called him at 5 a.m. That's something that people don't realize too. Is like it's not just that like, hey, you want to come play for Houston Heat, make some money. That's not how I could recruit or anything else. Like he had options, and I remember like he was telling me, oh, you know, like Infamous trying to pick me up, and they're like, hey, you know, like you're not gonna play on that team, so you should come here. You'll play every single point. I'm like, Connor, that's not why I'm calling you. I'm like, if you feel like
great recruiting. You know,
I was like, if at 5 a.m. if I'm going to call you right now and like let you know, hey, if that's what makes you happy, then we're happy for you. But at the same time, like we're literally not gonna sit you and things like that. Like your longevity for this team. Like we want him to be here for the next 10 years, and he came up with an open mind. And I've had guys come to this team that don't have an open mind. Guys that are just shitheads that think they should be there and everything else, and they fucking suck. And they still suck now. And it's like they're not on this team anymore. But him, man, I tell you what, he'll be here for the next 10 years. If Houston Heat like is going to be here for the next 15 years, he'll be here for the next 15 years. Like he is truly a special person. He came in with an open mind.
Franchise quarterback.
Oh, dude, like you want to talk about #1 draft pick to go and like, you know, a guy that you want to put all your faith in. I'm not saying we're going to give him fucking $125 million contract. He's going to quit on you, but at the same time,
that's
he is, he is a guy that you can look at and you're like, man, this kid is sweet. He's a raw athlete. He's positive. He doesn't really talk out like where he's like, oh, I know this, I know that. He just takes it in. If you ask him to do something, even if he's not comfortable with it, he'll do it.
Yeah.
It's like dude is truly great. And
so now that you've said all these great things about Connor, I have to say the one bad thing that I have about Connor.
Yes.
I love Connor Kelly. We've talked in the pits. Great dude, and I echo a lot of the things that you just said. There's one person who has no called, no showed us in our 2-year history of From the Sidelines. That kid was Connor Kelly. Gave us
you
a
guys got a hold of me
confirmation
6 weeks ago. We talked at the MAO event. I'm gonna talk to him about that one.
Yeah. So So for sorry Connor, got to put that out there, buddy.
I'm gonna teach him now. And Randy taught me this. I'm a man of my word. If I tell you I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna be there.
I got you. Do you know what ended up happening? The same night that we were supposed to have him on our show, PTG called him up because I think this was right after the Heat transfer.
He took the glory.
We already had him down on the schedule, so he's like,
teammate.
all right, I'm gonna go talk to Tyler and Marcelo.
Okay,
Fuck these
I will
guys.
say this, and I won't even say it on camera. He was dealing with a lot at the time. You got to think about it. He was up at 5 a.m. talking to me, and then all of a sudden he's on PTG.
And that's why I'm glad that you said all those nice things about him, because those are true, and I can echo a lot of those. But I had to get that one out there,
That's fine. Hey, listen, we're gonna have a conversation. I'll call him right now. You guys want me to call him right now?
Live on the show.
Hey, listen, you're supposed to be on this show.
Hell yeah.
Actually, it's 10:19, and he just had a baby about a month ago, so I don't know if I should do that.
He's a
I'll look out
father
for the
now.
well-being. His baby mom might be not so happy with me if I'm calling it 10:19 tonight.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So,
let's not make paintball worse in that relationship than it already is. But no,
Paintball's great.
Well, yeah, I mean, Brandon, you got lucky with that too. But not everyone has great support from their significant others.
No, not at all.
No.
Brando, you're a lucky guy.
I am. Yes, you just put a paintball gun in her hand and you support it. That's it.
Yeah, you just forced her
That's
to
how you do
play.
it.
I think that is the
your
move.
girl plays?
She does, yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm not.
She was a pro player. She was a pro player in the WNXL. What was that? Like a year ago? Like a year or two ago?
Up until the Diamond.
She was the
Solar
Sacramento
spot,
Diamonds carry. Yeah, she was the Sacramento Diamonds.
Sacramento
carry.
Diamonds.
Yeah. Put that shit on her back.
There you go.
For sure.
She did well. Yeah. Well, why wouldn't you let your lady play?
So my wife's on TV and she has played paintball with me, but she understands at the same time. I will say this: I've dated a lot of women in the past that were very jealous or they didn't like the lifestyle of me traveling and anything else.
Yep.
And it literally, it'll take a toll on you. I've watched dudes literally fall apart, cry. They got families at home and everything else, and it's hard to play on Houston sometimes. My wife has never complained one single time. I'm pretty sure she's beyond happy when I leave, but she's never complained one time about me being gone, doing anything for paintball or anything else. She's like, she understood. And so she truly is a blessing. That's how, and Randy taught me that a long time ago, because I'd be all heartbroken about a girl, like she wouldn't be happy about it. And she has never said one negative thing about paintball, about me traveling or anything else. Like, she gets it, right? And so I got real lucky with that. We played paintball once, and her and I still have an outstanding record of taking on about 25 people. I told her to watch the stairs in the castle and I'll handle everybody else, and we did just that. They came up the stairs. They were getting in the belly button from her and she had no fear, and then I just started sniping everybody else, and she pretty much knew right then and there that she wanted to raise puppies and hang out with me, so it works out.
That works.
That's what I like to do.
I've seen that meme in close quarters combat communities and stuff, because they'll talk about you could train all your life, train however much you want. If some dude's just at the top of a staircase, sorry, just is what it is. You turned the wrong corner. Yeah, and it's and that you just proved it right there. I need you to hold this choke point. You do that, we're good. We will be okay.
Yeah. For me, I don't think I could let my girlfriend play because, dude, I'd be way too critical. I'd be like, you gotta switch hands, you gotta snap perfectly.
Dude,
every
you
time.
gotta chill, man.
Well, my mistake was putting my jersey on her. Then people thought it was me, and they were chasing her down. And she's like, and it was like a respawn game. And she was like, hey, I'm not gonna wear this anymore. They're hunting me down. And I'm like, and she's like, I'm not fast as you. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, good luck.
Shoot your gun more.
Same thing happened. Thing happened. I let Michelle wear my jersey one practice. We were playing practicing 10-man, and I'm on the snake side, but she's in my jersey on the Dorito side, up in the 50, and she gets bunkered with 3 to the back of the head because all they see is my jersey.
And just see,
yeah. And she stands up to go, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought it was Brandon.
Deserved it. She deserved it. It's okay. Michelle's
rough.
Yeah.
She's a savage. She'll bounce back.
Yeah.
If she plays, then she's good to go.
I will say some of these WNXL girls are just crazy because I've seen Michelle go after some girls when she finally gets the drop on them, and so some of those girls in that division, if they get a chance to shoot a neck, they're gonna take it 100% of the time. It's vicious.
Absolutely, dude.
Sure.
Honestly, I think the top 4 teams of the NXL are actually or the WNXL are actually pretty entertaining to watch. Right?
Yeah, I would agree.
Think that the semifinals and up, dude, that is where.
There's a few girls that stand out to me that I'm like, I believe one of them is Danielle Rojas, and how she trains for the game and how she looks at it is like
real
she's another level. And Jen Folk, same thing. She's another level. And like her husband's involved and everything else. Like he coaches the team, he plays in a game, and it's like their life is paintball. And I love that because the fact that like they're about it. Like when they win a tournament, like it means a lot to them because that's their life. And I love it because like that's the same thing. I respect it. And it's just like when you see people to go to that level, it's crazy to me because it's like some people don't understand it. And to them, like especially a lot of these girls, a lot of girls join because of guys that they're with or like they've been with or anything else. And it's like to win a WNXL and everything else. And like how it makes me feel is like, hey, the sport's growing and it's amazing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
and
I mean, look at the kids league now. There's like a kids league and everything. There's anybody can play. Anybody can play. Sooner or later, we're gonna have like the special paintball like league where anybody can play. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying there.
Wheelchairs, people with no arms.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, give me 1 minute. I have to just give my dog her a little shot real quick because I didn't realize it was already 10:30. Give me 1 second.
No problem, brother. But I mean, just I'm gonna continue on this. Yeah, just all good. But I mean, when we're talking, what were we talking about? God damn it. Completely got me off there. Go, friends.
Special Paintball Olympics.
Special Paintball Olympics.
There we go. We're back. That got me back, baby. No, I was just going to say, take a look at your local field if you have like a WNXL team or people who are from that present. Dude, Capital Edge has so many more females now. There's kids out there all the time now who are like under 15 who are grinding and getting better. We used to only have Evan. And don't get me wrong, Evan's a badass because he just said fuck it and went out there when he was 12 and no one else was. But because of guys like him and because of the girls on the WNXL teams, you're starting to see more and more people from those categories start to come into the game, which just it grows the audience, grows more people who care about it, who give a shit. It's great. And it's I know Hatch has had his opinions on stuff in the past, and it does suck a little bit at times when it's like, fuck, I've given my whole life and you've played a year and now you're a pro. Okay, all right, well, fair. You get a free gun, but you know what? One of these days, that's gonna be me too, and I think that's the better attitude to take with that because I mean, dude, the proof's in the pudding. Just a couple years on since we've seen the WNXL come in, and I mean, yeah, the growth has definitely been there. Guys,
I feel like I've said it before about the WNXL, like maybe within the past like 10 episodes, but I remember I was asking some of the girls that like play at Capital Edge, and they're like, I was like, what made you guys play? And they were like, the WNXL, the fact that it's like we actually have something of our own, something that
a league of our own.
Exactly.
Tom Hanks,
only people that are exactly like you can go for it.
Wait, hold up.
What?
Only people who are exactly like you? That sounded weird the way you put that.
What do you want me to say?
Were you going segregation with that? That's kind of what that sounded like. I'm just saying, man.
No,
you gotta pick your words better here.
It's just girls. Is that not what
when
it
the
is?
Clovis kid is talking about only the right people get to play the game, then I get a little weirded out by that. You know what I mean, Hash?
I'm dead. Amen, brother.
She gets an allergy shot sometimes.
All
Hell
right.
yeah,
She's
brother.
got ears a lot. Appreciate you guys.
No, yeah,
No,
no
you're all
problem,
good,
Ben.
dude. Take care of the
We were
doggo.
just finishing up about doing WNXL and stuff along that lines. You did mention it way earlier on in the show, but it was something I did want to give people the information for out there. Sunday, August 4th, ESPN is going to be airing the coverage from the Atlantic City event. So unfortunately, the time zone completely fucking sucks, but if you want to stay up and watch it, 10 p.m. on the West Coast, so 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or 1 a.m. East Coast Standard Time is when it is going to be airing on Sunday, August 4th. You could, record it. That way it still gets kind of the watch on it, and maybe you could check it out the next day if you're not going to be up. I'm going to stay up myself because, yeah, fuck it, why not?
Can I check this out real quick? Listen, if you guys want paintball to grow, and you guys are listening to this right now, stay the fuck up if you're on the East Coast. And guys,
yes,
if you want paintball to grow and everything else, like this is our opportunity. Let's get the views. This is analytics here, people. Like literally, like if your team's in it, if you're not in it, if you're rooting for whoever or anything else, spread the word that it's going to be on TV. Like that's something that we've been reaching for and everything else. Everybody always talks shit about like they want people like to grow and everything else. And it's like, come on, like this is our opportunity. Just watch it, stay up for it, make it that one time and everything else. Like bring it to light of something, right? And it's like, yeah, they might not like that time. Like, do you think I want to stay up to 1 a.m.? No, but I will, because it's something that I do and everything else, and it's paintball. Like, they're saying paintball on TV
sometimes. Come on, be tired the next day, you pussy.
Yeah, don't be a bitch. Get out there and watch it.
Straight up, dude.
All valid points. I also,
Tom Cole did this for us. Let's do something for him.
I agree.
Also, little things like the fucking, while this is going on, start like throwing stuff up on Twitter, talking about it, ESPN, get a hashtag going, little things like that. They seem pointless, but companies do listen to those metrics. And I guarantee you, if an ESPN social, admin goes in the next day and sees that overnight everyone was talking about paintball on their TV, they're going to be like, oh shit, all right, I'll go tell my boss about that. We got something here. That's how this stuff works. I did want to correct one thing on the date real quick. It's Saturday, August 3rd for us on the West Coast, so it'll be the night of Saturday. It'll be Sunday the 4th
1 a.m. on the East Coast.
Yeah, so don't wait Sunday night to see it, because you'll be too late. So Saturday night, stay up that night, and then you'll be able to catch it 1 in the morning. So yeah, prime time.
I actually got in trouble, dude. I actually shared something on Facebook today about it, right? Facebook, bro. That's how.
Oh, did they flag you?
Yes, they did, bro. Did you get something about that?
No, but I've seen it, and I'm afraid that, like, it's been happening. Rainey called me last week about it. Like, he put a paintball gun up for sale, and like they flagged him. And listen, I cannot afford to be flagged, right? Like, I'm social media master over here, so I'm like, don't flag me. Like, I use your platform all the time. You use it, you lose it. Come on.
There was one day, and funnily enough, I just collabed. It was like one morning on Instagram. I collabed a video with Ronnie, and for some reason, like this morning on Instagram, like the servers weren't working, so like no one could upload shit. It was like a couple months ago. I remember it was happening, and it was like just as I posted the video. So I got my video up, and then the description didn't come up. No one saw it, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, did we just get shadow banned? Like, what the fuck happened? And then, later that day it got resolved and everything. But I was texting Ronnie later that night, and I was like, dude, I thought we got fucked for a second there. Like, I thought they took both of our accounts out in one blow. They're like, get him.
I'll be sad if Ronnie's account, because he helped. You want to talk about somebody who, like, when I created Leper King, like, a lot of my teammates were like laughing at me and everything else. That guy right there, he supported me. The Russians, they supported me. Like, he was a great teammate to it. Anything else, or like, he was just like, granted, I definitely have done a lot for Ronnie and everything else, but he did so much as far as support me, and that meant the most to me. So I was just like, like, that dude, oh my God, I love that guy so much.
He's a good guy.
Shout out Ronnie, friend of the show for sure. Great guy. I did want to point out a couple of the other events that were happening during the ESPN 8, the Ochos, because some of these actually are pretty funny, and I might tune in for some of them. Let me grab the full list here. But while I'm pulling that up, one of the ones that stood out to me was car jitsu. Have you guys seen any of the clips of this on Instagram at all? Because I've had a couple come up on my timelines. So imagine you're strapped into a car and you're
they're fighting with the seatbelts.
Yeah, so Tyler Harmon is in the seat next to you, and
I've seen one,
horn blows, and all of a sudden you're doing jujitsu, and it's who can submit who. So that's pretty sick. You're in a car. It's all right. Rounds going. See what can happen there. Another one. I thought, Hatch, you would be a huge fan of this. You're gonna have to check this out. It's the Sasquatch Uncut Beard and Mustache Competition. Do not know when this is airing, but I know you need to be watching that, because I think you can compete next year.
I gotta get their views up. I'm gonna share it on Facebook.
Yeah, dude, that's definitely a big thing for you. There is I don't know what this stands for, but NHRL Teams Robot Fighting Championship.
I've seen that shit.
I'm guessing it's the little robots.
Like that movie that was where they had a robot and they was fighting.
No,
Real Steel. I love that
Real
shit.
Steel. That's a great reference. I don't think it's that crazy, but I think it's like little. I don't know. I've seen it on like Discovery Channel.
There's like regulations and stuff where it's like they got to be like a certain weight, certain electronics inside it, and it's like whatever
rules.
You can make with these
flamethrowers are banned.
These rules.
Yeah, but, dude, no joke. That shit comes on when we're in like the hotel at events, when like I turn on the TV and that shit's playing. I'm watching robots fight with hammers.
You always see
like,
the randomest shit when like you're at the hotel, either during an event or just traveling, and it's like you don't have your laptop or anything to watch, so you just throw on the TV, and it's always just something crazy, or it's like the same 4 reruns of Family Guy and The Office, and that's the only things that are on TV anymore.
Serious question: What is your guys' go-to hotel show? Like when you go into a hotel, what is like the number one thing that you know is going to be on?
Wait, before you ask that, do you guys all like? Have you had the same teammates or the same people you stay with for like the last 10 years?
Not that long, but yeah, I've been going like 4 years now.
I've had the same roommate for since the inception of the team, other than the 1 year he left for. But I've been roommates with Mishka, so he goes to bed early because obviously his time zone and everything's also off. He doesn't understand English so well, so it's not like he wants to watch everything that I want to watch. So,
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes we watch sports, or sometimes he just literally like. Sometimes I'll actually stay up with him and like teach him English by like reading a book to him or anything else. Like I tried reading the Bible to him, but
Great
it didn't really. Yeah, and I teach his kids English, and I teach him Ebonics. I teach him good words, a lot more bad words than good, and things like that. No, we have a pretty good time. I pick on him a lot, and we're playing with social media and everything else. But in Russian, think about it. Since 2020, like social media couldn't really be projected there. So when they come here, like it's kind of a big thing for them. So it's like it gets a little crazy, but at the same time, like we don't really watch the same shows or anything else because my guy doesn't understand English like that. So it works out. Sometimes I massage his calves with saturated milk every single night, and he goes out there and does what he does.
Yeah, you gotta keep him ready for the next day. Yeah.
That's
That's just GM things, doing it for the team.
Hey, he's happy. I'm happy. It works out.
Amen.
You gotta
That's
love
what
that.
I like to hear.
There was a couple other on this list that I wanted to bring up. Battle of the Buoy. Pro doubles teams fight to stay afloat in New York City for the chance to hoist the coveted golden buoy. I legitimately think this is going to be people trying to balance on a buoy in New York Harbor. So it sounds crazy. I'll tune in at least. I'll see what the fuck that's about.
Yeah.
The other one that I thought was awesome too, obviously MLPB, Atlantic City Open. We got that one on there. And then lastly was the Roofball World Championships. Have you guys heard of Roofball at all?
What is
No, but it sounds dangerous.
No. Okay, good.
Extreme.
I love this. All right, so Roofball. Roofball is a sport that has been played for 30 years in Beaverton, Oregon. I'm
Wait,
not
have you watched
joking.
this?
I don't watch it, but during 2020, Barstool Sports found a video of this guy talking about Roofball, and he made up this whole game, and he's been playing it with his friends and family. They've had invitationals and tournaments that they've been holding for, like I said, since the 70s. And during 2020,
Like
bored ass
basketball.
Barstool,
Basketball.
Barstool
That's
Sports.
exactly what I thought of.
They showed up and they started competing in his Roofball event with him.
I hope the
Obviously,
cheerleaders are
a whole
like
new
that.
audience.
I'm watching it right now.
A whole new audience of people joined, including myself. So shout out Roofball. I'm glad it's making its way onto the ESPN finally. I will say it was funny because Barstool came in and obviously they were making fun of it the whole time, and the guy was so serious about it that it brought everyone back around. Because, like, you could tell he cared so much that it's like, I can't make fun of this. Like, I'm just going to, all right, I'll be serious about this, and we'll just try to make this work for you, bro.
Even with Barstool doing that, like the reach that they have and everything else, like I tell people all the time, any publicity is good publicity, right? The Bob and Tom show one time, they were talking about my wife. She used to be on a radio station, and they were talking about this girl and everything else, and she's engaged to a professional paintball player, and then they were just shitting all over it. Man, my following grew so much because of that, and I was like, hey, thank you very much. I'll take a slam dunk on that one, because I didn't say one thing back, and it was like paintball. So I like that, and that they were talking about it, and Barstool was shitting on it. So shout out to the Roofball.
Dude, I'm watching the 2008 Roofball World Champions, part 1 and 2.
Right now?
Dude,
Right now you are?
Yeah,
It's fucking
Roofball's been a
sick,
thing.
dude.
It's been
I got
around for a
you.
long time. That's hilarious. I didn't know that you've personally been attacked by Barstool, Chad, or else I probably would have brought
No,
that
it's
up.
Bob and Tom. Bob and Tom.
Okay, cool. No, Roofball, I'll be excited to see it because I need it to be the same dudes. Those two guys, I think they had the guy on the left on the Barstool team, or in the Barstool team in 2020. So like they brought the same like commentators and everything to do it. It was a very funny event.
Dude,
so I'm
2008
excited to see that finally get its big time shot on ESPN
That's
HBO
sweet.
show.
Dude, these cameras, bro, this is like 16 Go
It gives
Sports.
you some nostalgia.
This is advanced. This is advanced, bro.
It's
Some
4x3.
serious shit.
It's not in
Good
HD.
product. I
All
like it.
right.
This shit's sick, dude. We should go.
So yeah, I mean, there probably is a tournament this
Stadium
year in
only.
Beaverton,
I can only
Oregon
go
at
for
some
stadium
point.
only.
Dude, this is posted by the Roofball Federation of America. Holy shit,
Yeah,
they're
no,
official.
they
bro.
They
have-
get government money. If they got federation, they got government money.
We gotta go and make it work.
This top comment says, I had a cousin who got caught up in the Roofball crowd, ended up in the
boy.
gutter. Damn shame.
Nothing good.
It sounds like he took liquid Cialis and he's ready to rock.
I guess
At
so.
the same time, no pun intended.
Yeah. Great game, Roofball. Look into it if you haven't. If you have any
Yeah,
interest
dude,
out
this
there
is-
listening
this
to
is
it,
fucking sick.
it's just guys being dudes. It's fucking hilarious. There's also the World Juggling Federation. They have an event. Speed puzzling, competitive speed cubing, the World Jump Rope Championships, FTA World Championships, best freestyle trampoline association. Papa Shot 2024 National Championships. Is Papa Shot?
Wait, that is a championship?
Yeah. Is that?
I'm submitting Greg Sewers right now. That's who I want to be, if it's possible.
Okay.
Okay.
He's the fastest
It
Papa
sounds
Shot I've ever
familiar
seen
to
in my
me.
life.
I feel
Greg
like I've seen
Sewers?
this game. No, I know Greg, but Papa Shot. Because like I can't.
It's a little game, a little basketball game.
Oh, that's what it is. Oh, okay, shit. All right, that's actually
Oops,
fuck.
the
Okay.
arcade game.
I spelled Papa shit
Oh.
on accident.
Yeah, that'll not get you there. All right. So okay, cool. All right, I did not know that. There's also Zone Ball Clash. I have no fucking clue what that is. Speed Chess Championship Final. Battle of the Buoy. I mentioned that. 2024 Forehand Strike U.S. Open. I have no fucking clue what that is. The SXY National Beach Tennis Invitational, Ultimate Tire Wrestling, the
the fuck is tire
2024
wrestling?
Hamlin Adult Big Wheel Races, and then finally to round out the weekend, there's the 2023 National Putting Tour Final, and then of course Banana Ball is like their big, headlining show throughout all of the weekend of ESPN 8. So. A lot of crazy things there for you to tune into. Half of them sound
That's
made
opportunity.
up. But,
That's opportunity right there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me just say, I'm not gonna hate, but I'm glad I play paintball.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, there's
That
some
shit is way
sus
cooler than-
choices
So
in
that's
there.
the shit we got to compete with. Let's go.
There we go, dude.
Paintball has an opportunity here.
100%. We got to get everyone coming home from the bar at 1 a.m. They're trash.
On the
They
East
turn
Coast.
on ESPN. And yeah, all right. Well, perfect.
I'm gonna go into like my local dive bar and say, "Turn it on." Turn it on.
Yeah, get all the eyes in the room on it. All right, boys. So that's the big ESPN news. Glad to hear that. I guess other thing in like sports tradition type stuff that is kind of cool news that happened today. The International Olympics Committee, the IOC, voted today to officially create a esports Olympics. So coming
Hell
in
yeah.
some point in the future. I mean, they voted on it today, so don't expect it anytime soon. But yeah, they do have a plan to create some type of infrastructure and platform for that moving forward. So that's kind of cool seeing esports
gonna be
getting up
sick.
more and more in there.
Yeah.
I think it is kind of I talked about it a little bit in the past couple weeks, but this big tournament going on in Saudi right now, the Esports World Cup, which I think has kind of been a testing ground for a lot of the stuff that they're going to do with the IOC stuff. I know they've been working together, kind of there's something going on behind the scenes there. I don't know the whole story, but yeah, it'll be cool to
Opportunity. I
see.
think that's what you said. There was opportunity.
Exactly, and it'll be
There we
cool to see
go.
what comes from that. Obviously, my favorite games, Counter-Strike, League, all that stuff is going to be represented. But yeah, I will say it's also cool to see all these like random mobile games that like no one plays here, but it's the #1 app in the Philippines, and so it's like it has all these people who love it, but we've just never fucking heard of it.
Hell yeah.
Are you saying that we're disclosed and are blocked off from a lot of things?
More so that in America we game on consoles and PCs more, and so a lot of
Yeah.
our market share goes there, whereas mobile gaming is definitely bigger in Southeast Asia and more places like that, just because it's a lot easier to have a phone and game on that than having a whole
I will
console.
say this. So McLaren has a phone that a lot of people don't know about. We actually have a guy that has come to a few events, and he's actually a big YouTuber.
McLaren F1 like technologies, like
So
okay.
McLaren, he actually paid for this guy's house. He's big on YouTube and everything else. I won't actually throw his name out there without permission, but literally, this guy is a big fan of the team, and he comes to our events, is with the team the whole time. He stays with the team, and he's super supportive. And yeah, McLaren is definitely in mobile gaming and things like that. Like he makes videos and does mobile gaming with Call of Duty and PUBG.
Okay.
He's super big with it. A lot of people don't even realize that McLaren even has a phone. So it's like they even like did do that on. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, no.
Type it in the chat.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I was watching the event, and obviously, I was looking for like the 4 games that I know of, Counter Strike, Call of Duty's in there. There's a couple other cool ones, but then I was watching like Mobile League Bang Bang, and it's like, I've never heard of this thing, but there was 20,000 Philippine people all tuned in and like ravishly typing in chat, and I was like, all right, there's people who care. Like, I have no clue what's going on. Yeah, there was like, and
Man,
I mean,
I would love it. I'd love it if 20,000 people were watching.
this was not a great, and this was like a group stage game. Like, this was it was 1 o'clock over here, and I was like, let's see what's going on over in Saudi real quick. And yeah, it was, so not even like a grand finals or anything like that. I know the CS major that they just had over there, I think their grand finals it was concurrent of about 250K on YouTube and Twitch combined. So Esports World Cup, they're doing great things, getting, more eyes on these games that they already have big audiences, but I mean, those are just extra people who are kind of tuning into it, people who may not always.
I mean, I think that definitely, like, with like the whole gambling and everything, that's definitely gonna bring more eyes to the game. And dude, imagine if we had 250K watching us for like just like a single event.
Well, I'll say this. So Mickey Mays obviously is a big ambassador to gambling and everything else, and watches paintball and loves paintball. I think Mickey's great for the sport. I think Mickey is one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. What he's done with Kurgo and everything else, and I'm not even endorsed by Kurgo or anything else, but I will say
we are
this.
affiliates with the Kurgo. We do have a link, and
Okay.
So yeah.
But I will say this. I think what he has done, and just him even stepping into the sport, acknowledging that, right? Like, look at how many eyes are on him for gambling and everything else, and what he's done, like, out in his world, and like him just even acknowledging paintball and everything else, and he knows how much he loves it. And that's the biggest thing too, is like, it's not like paintball does anything for him, he just loves it. And he's like, we should be actually more appreciative of the fact that like this guy who is so popular and everything else is willing to be like, hey, you know what, I'll go ahead and just do all this stuff for paintball, and I don't want anything for it or anything else. He just loves it. And so
it's kind of
like,
funny because the guy we have to thank for that is actually his brother, Mark.
Yes, his little brother.
We had his brother
Mark
on a couple weeks ago on the show. It was great to talk to him.
I love that guy.
I love Mark. Yeah, he's a good dude.
Awesome dude. But it was funny because 2020 type thing, him and Mickey were like, shit, dude, I want to hang out with you more. You're my brother. And paintball ended up being the thing that kind of they were able to reconnect with. And,
the stars aligned and everything else. And Mark is such a great kid. And it's like, all he wanted to do was play professional paintball. His first professional practice was against us with Seattle Uprising. And I was so happy for him because it was just like, not only was he like just learning the game as like a professional and everything else, so he was just open, he's positive and everything else, and he's a great dude that like a lot of people, like, if you get the opportunity to like to meet that guy or to even talk to him, it's like, man, you're gonna see what a good person is. And it's cool because he's got good stories and everything else, and he like, you talk to people and like they either want something from anything else, but no, that guy, he's just a good person, so I like him a lot.
No, and I'm glad you brought that up there, because we were talking about the esports side of stuff, and people, they see the numbers today, but they don't see the last 10 years of the game getting there. And a lot of what helped shape that was honestly gambling, was the fact that as a kid, I was able to go online and put my skins on a website and gamble on teams. 2014 Cloud9 won me a whole bunch of money versus Fnatic. I will never forget that, because I was like 15 years old. I was working a lifeguard job, and all of a sudden I just made like twice what I would make that month because I was betting online with skins. It caused a bad problem that is degenerate within me now, and I do not recommend anyone to go down. But with that being said, it now has created also a love for Counter-Strike that I still watch to this day, and I keep up with it, and kind of, it's one of those things that's not my main thing. I definitely spend more time on paintball and other things, but yeah, I'll have an app on my phone and go check some news stories and kind of, see what's going on in that world every now and then. And so it is kind of something that we were talking with Kurgo, like, that has the potential to help kind of bring some of those, people into our sport as well. Guys who maybe they like the action, they like the betting, but they just don't have, they don't know about paintball because they've never heard of it. Well, now they can combine the two. Maybe they see this thing they've never had interest in, but they like gambling, and now I can gamble on this thing, so now I want to go check it out more and kind of learn more about it, and who the fuck is Dynasty, and why is Houston Heat up here, and kind of dive into the whole storyline of everything, because that's also how you make better bets, just by knowing what the fuck is actually going on. So it definitely,
I remember seeing the video of you picking Paintball Fit over Dynasty, and I was like, man, he just really put it out there. But I was like, fuck it, he owned it. Like, it is what it is. He's a man behind his word. Here he goes. And then he won.
I also picked Aftershock going into the finals at last event. I did also have them winning against Russian Legion, but at that point they already won me a lot of money and they were underdogs, so I said fuck it. But Russian Legion definitely looked better. I mean, that's a whole other thing that we're going to talk about. I got the stats and everything, and our audience has heard that for a long time. But yeah, if you guys need advice to bet on these next set of games coming up in Chicago, please check out our pick show. We will be doing one before we jump into the event. And yeah, we always try to help you guys make some money out there, give you the good advice on the odds that we like on Kurgo and stuff that we think you should keep your money away from, because it's just not worth it. You know, some bets are not worth it.
My biggest thing is like, you would think that that's not worth it, but at the same time, like I watch Paintball Fit fucking play triple the time that like most teams play at all, and it's like, man, like how do you not want to bet on these kids? Like how do you not have a soft spot for the fact that like these guys are like they're morning, noon, and night, like they fucking live at the field, and it's sweet because of the fact that like they're living a paintball dream that like they put themselves in. Yeah, are they making millions of dollars? Absolutely not. Are they probably getting paid? No, but that's their team, that's their life, and like why would you not respect it and just throw a little bet on them, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I think the thing is with PB Fit, and kind of with like almost every paintball field now, where the local paintball field's almost like the Sandlot in a way, right? Where it's just kind of where everybody kind of goes, and the kind of thing where nobody keeps score.
Everybody knows your name.
Yeah,
that's funny. That's funny you say the Sandlot, because that's where I got my nickname from. The little Yaya.
Dude, I was gonna ask that. I just watched that on 4th of July.
Fuck yeah, you did, because they were putting a little chaw in their mouth, hitting the old.
We were talking about that one too, bro. Dude, that shit is me. If I was that age, trying some good old chaw, dude, I'd be fucked, bro. I'd be dead.
So I had to do chaw one time, and kids don't do this, and I will say that I do not advise this, but I told Jason Chosen in 2012, he actually doesn't do it anymore. However, he said, "You want to try it?" I was like, "I'll try it when I win my first pro tournament in 2012. We won Phoenix 2012, and right after we lived right across the street for the whole week, we had a house Airbnb. And man, I put that in my mouth and I threw up so fucking fast. It was ridiculous.
Dude, that shit is disgusting. I don't know how the fuck
I do not recommend that. It is bad for you children, and I do not recommend that. But I'll tell you what, it's probably good for a story like that, so it works out. So, and I won the tournament, so I didn't care.
I used to dip a little bit in high school. I'll 100% say it. Don't fucking do it. It's just not worth it. The amount of times that like I throw a pouch in and then 20 minutes later have to throw up. It's like, this is just not worth it, because
is a pouch, is that like a pinch? Is that what that is?
So a pouch, it's literally, think of our NECTR pouches, but instead of neurotropics and caffeine, it has just like tobacco in there, and so it's just a little easier instead of you having to like pinch it and do all that.
Version of it,
but again, it's the same thing. It's still nicotine and tobacco, and it's not good for you, and it will fuck your body up. And I got over that one quick after the 3rd or 4th time, where I was like, I feel like throwing up right now.
I got scared straight when in 6th grade we watched a video, and it was one dude who had no fucking bottom jaw. He puts this fucking like little dildo vibrator to his neck, and he's like,
for a reason.
Hi, how are you?
It's called scared straight.
Communicating in the game of paintball.
I've been doing tobacco for 25 years. It's like, oh my god, bro, that is not trying to be me. Or like a chick.
I just want to see one of those guys be so committed
they scared me not to do that because of that.
Exactly, they got me.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yes.
It's like beyond scared straight, but like without like the jail. So good.
Well,
that's a good reference.
Have you guys seen cigarette packs in countries like Australia? I know UK has them as well.
Like, they show the fucked up pictures on them.
Fucked up
on the back of the package.
And it's not just like lungs. It'll be like
totally off topic, but it's okay. I'm in for it, and like I like it.
Dude, people will still buy them. People will still buy them.
Funked up.
Oh, what the warning is does not matter.
Kids, vape. All right, if you need nicotine, if you're that age, you gotta get it.
Drink water, hydrate, drink liquid IV.
Well, that's true.
I tell you what, use code Mafia.
Yep, that's a good shit, Chad. That's some good
shameless plug,
bro. What the? Who's put that picture? Is that Brando that just put that? Who the?
Oh yeah, that's one of the.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Wait, actually, those are the cancer. Those are the Canadian cigarettes, because I've actually seen Joe pull those out. 5-Pack Productions. A couple of events, he'll have a pack of cigarettes, and they're just, it's like the most morbid looking.
It's not cool to smoke. I'll just say that,
dude.
Okay, you say that, but then you watch any action movie from the 70s, and when a dude just pulls out that pack,
I fall asleep in 2 minutes if I watch a movie from the 70s.
It's like, dude, like at Disneyland, where every single Walt Disney photo, they photoshopped the cigarette out.
Well, it was the 60s, man. Everyone fucking smoked.
Yeah, every single picture of Walt Disney you see always had. I've seen this on like thousands of like
that was like the thing.
Yeah, it was just
every single. His fingers are always like this because he had a cigarette in it, and now every single one of the photos at Disneyland, they're photoshopped out.
Good. Keep it that way. Kids, don't smoke. It's bad for you.
God damn
Breathe
it.
air, not
But
smoke.
flavored air.
Flavored air.
Burn rubber, not your soul. Let's go. Your boys, 2002, Megan Good. Here we go.
There we go.
All right, boys.
Okay. I got a question for you.
Wait, can I take a bathroom break before you ask that question?
Yes, Chad.
Absolutely. Yes.
Write it down. Hang on a second. I got
We're
goosebumps.
good.
Got a piece of
We're good. I got notes. We're
Second
good.
break for me. Hang on a second. Weak bladder. I'm 37.
Our
I'm gonna
diva,
die soon.
it's
Hang on a
okay.
second.
It's okay. But I'll. That's actually perfect timing because you're gonna jump in with something with him when he gets back. I will jump on my little solo topic I got real quick. I told you guys about this before the show, but for our audience, I have spent the past 48 hours over the weekend becoming well, not a god. I suck, but I be trying to become the best college football recruiter in the nation. I started my time at Boise State. I loaded into NCAA College Football 25 on Friday night. I started up a save on the Boise State famous blue turf, and I got to work right away. I put in the hours with these recruits. I threw some 5 stars up on my board, but I knew I probably wasn't going to be getting them. Miami was going after them. Ohio. There's a whole bunch of schools that they're playing better than I was at the time, and I really just wasn't going to be able to pull them down on my recruit board yet, so I focused on 3 stars, 4 stars. I made some progress here on there on them. I sent the house to a couple of these guys. I told them the right sway. Some of these kids, they wanted to play at prestigious academic academies. We don't have that at Boise State, but you know what we do have? We have some program tradition, and that's what we were able to recruit these boys with. I was bringing in great 4-star right outside linebackers, some great middle linebackers to get that secondary a little bit better for the Boise State Blue Boys. And guys, within 2 years, we went to the national championship.
Damn, within 2 years?
We
Holy
did
shit.
fucking lose to Georgia. They slaughtered us, and I threw 4 picks that game. I'm not shitting you. But the good news is we're making progress. All right, the boys in blue, Boise State, we're going to be coming out strong for the next couple of years. I did re-sign my contract, so I'm going to be committed there for at least the next couple of years. Maybe in the long term, we'll see where it takes us.
Wait. Do you play, what is this, college
NCAA
college football?
25. So you got up.
Man.
I Friday night I logged into it and I just spent all fucking weekend playing it. I just got so into it. It was it was autistic. But
Do you guys play as well?
They don't play at all.
I don't myself.
No.
I had to go.
I can't. It's hard for me to watch college sports until they start getting paid recently, but I just don't give a shit anymore about them. I used to have a hard time watching college sports because of that and fantasy football and everything else. But
I feel it.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of college football. I don't want to say more than pro, but just for the fact that it's not a perfect game. When you watch pro teams on Sunday, it's too rehearsed. It gets to a time where, all right, 3rd and 4, we're gonna fucking go for a run. If they get 2 yards, they're gonna punt it. If they don't get 2 yards, they're gonna go. It's like you just kind of know how the game's gonna go. Meanwhile, when you fucking watch a Mike Lynch fucking air raid offense at Wazoo from back in the day, Gunnar Minshew's throwing 400 yards and 6 touchdowns against some kid who's gonna be an accountant for the rest of his life. That shit is electric. I'm sorry, it just is. There's something about
I'm
it
not
that
gonna
just
disagree
gets
with that,
me.
and that is fucking electric. You know why? Because Gunnar is a motherfucking electric motherfucker right there. So I will say
Gunnar
this:
Minshew.
Jacksonville Jaguars, Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
That dude puts on a headband. That guy fucks. He's sweet. Number 2 is the reason why also people like a little bit of college sports a little more than professional sports and everything else. It takes somebody truly special. When you go pro in the NFL, you have and you're on that 53-man roster, you are special. And that's kind of where the whole like when I tell people that professional paintball, it's truly elite because that mental game of how fucking good those people are, man, I tell you what. Even the coaches though, you get those coaches and how they see the game and everything else and how they see just the strength of their player that they're going to pull out of that and everything else. You have to be special because, man, and this is why we shouldn't go to blind layouts because of that. Because once you get to practice and you get to see exactly the opportunity you can take, oh my God, you see a lot of good shit.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things for me personally that I've kind of guys I've been able to meet through paintball is Chris Odom. Being able to talk to him about
he's
his
great.
Cool ass guy.
Yeah,
He's a cool guy.
His
he's more
perspective
cool. He's
No,
special
you're
to
good,
me.
man. I was just gonna say, his perspective on working up to the top levels and playing with guys like Aaron Rodgers, playing in locker rooms with some of these great guys, and then going back down only to come back up and then have an injury take you out to then go back down. His story has been insane over the past 2 years and the kind of the hardships that he's had to work through. And the whole time he's been one of the nicest and just genuine dudes I've ever met. Like, I mean,
cool
fucking, we were
ass
talking
guy.
to Discord the other night, and he was just, you know, shooting the shit, talking about some stuff. And I think, you know, I've never really had insight to football like that. You know, I like it. I've been a fan my whole life, but bro, I barely played high school.
Yeah, but to
right?
see his perspective and how he reads the game and everything else is truly
Exactly.
special. I used to actually live with an NFL player, and when he went pro, like how he would sit and watch the game and how much faster his mind worked. Like imagine this, like imagine that like times 10, like when they're coming at you and everything else. It's like, holy shit. I think and that's what makes Chris so special as well. Cause like when he talks to us and everything else, he's so humble about it, but man, he is so quick in his mind. It's ridiculous. It truly is elite. So it's like, and even when you talk to Chris and it's like how much he loves paintball, and it's like this game brought us all together. Like how many people truly get to say that they get hung out with like NFL players, or they get to meet like people on TV, or they get to meet like Mickey Mays, or, you know,
Yeah, I mean there's stuff I can't talk about yet, but there's some conversations I've been having with Kierga recently that, I mean, shit, dude, like stuff that would never be possible in my life, you know, other than a kind of opportunity like this and having the hard work to be ready for it, you know, like it's kind of, all right, you're in the right place, right time, and you get the right, you know, hand out the right opportunity to take it, you know, make it happen. And yeah, so
absolutely.
Yeah. So yes, audience, that is a tease. There are some big things that I told these guys
boy.
about, and they're in the works.
Little link
So,
knowledge, I like that.
yeah, very excited about
good
that.
shit.
All right, boys. Brandon, I want to give you one more chance with our guest for tonight, as we are getting a little bit towards the end of our show.
Yeah, what happened to my question? I had a good one.
Oh shit, that's right, because we're talking about college football.
I apologize.
I'm sorry, Hash.
All right,
We'll go to you
My bad,
and then
Hash, my
Brandon.
bad.
Let's get
This
out of
one's
order
going to
here.
be very fitting. This one's very fitting. All right.
I didn't do it.
Do you think you could take on a bloodlusted leopard by yourself? And if not, how many Houston Heat teammates would it take for you to bring in?
100%, because it wouldn't be violent.
Okay.
Wouldn't matter if it's bloodlust or not. It does not matter. I would look it in the eyes and
It would recognize its king.
it would know.
Oh, shit. Okay.
It's not even that I'm the king. It would just know. Just like when Tarzan's in the jungle. It would be the same situation. Like, that's what I truly believe. Like,
All right.
we actually, so with HK, when I did one of my shoots, we were going to get a leopard for it. And they're like, all right, here's the budget.
That's crazy.
And then I called, like, a few different places when I was in LA, and they were
Paul
like,
Joe Exotic.
well, yeah. And then they were like, it's $7,000 for 2 hours. And I was like, I don't have $7,000. And HK's like, we're not paying $7,000.
We're not paying yet.
And I was like, okay. So we kind of let it go. But
I probably could have gone you a tiger for cheaper. No bullshit.
Hash is gonna find one right now.
there's a Myrtle Beach safari here in like where I live at in South Carolina. And I'll tell you what, like it's with Doc, what is
It's
it?
Doc Handel, right? That's his place,
Doc
right?
Handel, yeah. He's got Bubbles the elephant. He's got tons of tigers. He has 2 leopards. But like to even like hang out with the monkeys and everything else, it's like $350 an hour. And I'm like, listen, like I'm on a budget here. Like I'm not trying to do all that. But they told me though, they're like, hey, you can come out at $7,000. But you have to spend one whole day with the leopard. And I'm like, I don't have a day. Like, I have to be like the day, and then I'm flying back out. And they're like, yeah, you can't do it.
Like
You
a
spend a day with
bonding
it.
day.
Yeah,
Like-
because if I didn't do that, then it might just take my soul, and then like, how'd the Leopard King die from a leopard? But yeah, it's like,
That would have been
that's the
amazing.
situation.
Well, yeah, I thought it would know. I thought you would look at it and it would know.
If it didn't, just saying, I'm putting it out there, but good call. Yeah. So I'm not gonna say that we're gonna have a connection like that, because the way that my dogs look at me compared to that leopard, it might be a little different. But yeah.
No, you just gotta
I'm gonna say
alpha
we'll
the
be
fuck out of
violent.
it. Just don't.
But if I did have to ask one teammate to do that, I'll tell you this story real quick. It might not be for all the children or anything else. I have passed
This is
out
not
on
a
a
kid's
747. Yeah, I might have passed out on a 747 one time. I took an edible. It's legal in California, so it is what it is.
Amen.
I took
no
an
longer
edible.
a Schedule I
I got
substance.
up too fast. And when I went to the bathroom, I didn't even know I was actually up, because I thought I was going to laugh for 8 hours or laugh for an hour and sleep for 8 hours. But I got up and I heard somebody's got to help this guy. And not a lot of people know this except for guys on team. And Randy knows this, so he's okay with it because he was on the plane. I was next to Ronnie. I said, I got to go to the bathroom. Next thing I hear is somebody's got to help this guy. And it's me that needed help because I passed out on the plane. And the lady, what'd you do? And I'm like, I'm the Leopard King, blah, blah. Like, she's like, no, you're on something. I was like, I'm telling you that. Yeah.
admit
Then,
nothing, deny everything.
literally.
Dude, that is the same vibe as that one video where she's like, that motherfucker in the backseat is not real. You know, you guys
I will say
have
this.
seen that one, right?
Yeah, this is why I don't use Ronnie. because he just looked at me in the seat and he turned around like he didn't know me. But the person who stood up is Ryan Smith, our coach now. He came and they're holding my legs in the middle of the aisle, and then a doctor came up and he's like, "Oh, he just got up too fast." And he's like winking at me, and I'm like and they're like, "Tell us what you did," and I'm like, "You know what I did?" And they're like, "No." And
Everyone here knows
they were gonna
it.
take the
We
plane
just don't
back
need to
over
say
the
it.
ocean. Yeah.
Like, oh, dude, I have an iron deficiency.
Yeah. Well, the doctor was like, "Yeah, he got up too fast, blah, blah, everything else." And he's winking at me. And then, yeah, Ronnie acted like he didn't know me. But
God damn it, Ron.
Ryan Smith or Tyler Harmon would definitely fight that leopard, be the best they can be or anything else, and make sure like that I'd be okay. So,
I think we said
those
this
two guys.
when we talked to Ronnie, because Hatch asked this to every single guest. This is a very
Not
normal
this
thing
exact
on the
one,
show.
but
No, yeah,
very
that's true.
close.
Not this exact
You hit
question.
me with the same question as the rest of the guests?
No,
Not
it's
even
always
close, not
different,
even
but it's
close.
always
Okay.
a
I was gonna say,
bloodlusted
son
animal.
of a bitch.
So when we asked Ronnie, we asked who he would want in there, and I think he instantly went to Tyler as well too, because I think Tyler just intimidates the animal. They're like, "Why are you as tall as me?
that.
Like, what the fuck?
No,
You're not scared.
Tyler is
You're
like,
looking
"Hey,
through
it's
my
me."
soul."
Yeah, he's like, "Look at me right now. We're gonna die together, or I'm gonna take you out." It's not that thing killing him. It's they're gonna die together,
He's gonna
or
be
he's taking it
fireman
out.
carrying you out like Forrest Gump at the end of him and
He's a
Bubba.
man. He's a man. He's a great teammate. He's a man.
Hell yeah, that's fucking awesome.
I gotta ask you this about this, because we're talking about Tyler. I've mentioned this before on the podcast, and it is something that I feel it's always scary as fuck to film Tyler in the pits, because when he has his mask on and he's just straight concentration eyes looking through you like he's trying to like kill you, but he's not. It's just that he's in his zone, so he's trying to go kill someone else. And I will say it definitely has gotten me intimidated though at times, where I like go to pull up, I got a good shot, and then he looks at you and you're just like, "All right, man, my bad."
No, he's the most positive teammate you could ever have in your life. Like
Absolutely.
I don't know if he's ever said anything negative to somebody on our team.
I will say that, not negative. It's not vocal, but it's his eyes. Because when he wears that
but
clear
I
lens, and it's
I get
just
it.
that
They're intimidating.
Yeah,
but at the same
that-
time, it's like he's such a good dude that like I want to win for him. Like he puts it on his shoulders for the win for the team. I just want to win for him because he's such like he's so in it. Like you said, he's in the zone.
I
tell
hear
you
that
what.
every single event,
Yeah.
man. Just cheering up the guys. Special guy, dude.
He's special, and I love it. I love that he plays on this team.
Hell yeah,
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Seriously.
Brandon, let's jump over to you now. We got a bloodlusted question out of the way, but good question, Hatch. I like the leopard specifically for the leopard.
That
King.
was good. I feel like it was targeted. It was good.
Brandon,
Brandon, hit me with it. Brandon, if you need some liquid IV, it's right behind you.
He does need
I
some
really do.
IV.
Yeah, I'm dying.
Look up. If you look up, it'll stop. I
do you
promise.
notice how he's gotten more sweaty during the show? He's in a no air conditioned room right now, just dying throughout the show. So thank you to our boy.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm a little lightheaded, but we're
Yes,
yeah,
it's been so
No,
hot
he's
in
here.
California,
I
man.
appreciate you being there.
Hey, I appreciate you being here.
I'm over here cranking beers, talking shit.
Hell yeah, brother.
Dude, I want to know what's through all your travels and everything, and all the players you've been around. What's the funniest story, off-field story that you have that you're willing to share?
I do have a lot, and I pick on Mishka a lot. Fedorov is one of the funniest guys. A lot of people think that he's very aggressive because he's kind of shy still. He speaks good English now, but he's probably one of the funniest guys. Him and Ronnie, Fedorov and Ronnie are probably some of the funniest guys. Tyler, trying to think. Shit. As far as like the funniest, man, we have so many moments. If you tune into the D's on Docs, I mean, you'll probably see a lot of funny shit. To be honest with you, shout out Ronnie D's on the D's on Docs.
Hell yeah.
So, I'm trying to think. Sam and Chad lived together for a little while. Man, that's pretty funny, but I'm gonna say that one. I'm trying to think here. Man, off the top of my head, I can't. There's so many moments that we've had.
That tends to happen too, where it's just, you take so many trips, you're just like, it's every trip. I don't know. They're great guys. I like being with them.
Yeah, I got two stories from each event, Name an event, I'll tell you a funny story about it,
Absolutely. Yeah, there's so many funny ones. I don't even know if it's like it's definitely not PG-13, but that's what makes it funny. Shit, I probably shouldn't even share them. I'm just gonna plead the fifth on it, even though that's a great question and I could tell you hella stories. I probably shouldn't, just because the fact that like it's too much. But yeah, off camera I'll tell you. But
Oh yeah.
it's crazy.
I respect that from a man when he can plead the fifth in confidence.
I mean, if I wasn't married, I'd probably be a millionaire just because of crazy shit that I could
lawsuits
just
that
tell
you've
you.
been settled in, or like.
No, I definitely don't have a that situation, but yeah, that's a whole new world right there.
Well, for sure.
So,
One thing I want to say real quick before we move on. It's kind of funny story. Brando's happy belated birthday, buddy. His birthday was this past week.
Happy belated. That is true.
So Saturday night, him, Cedar, and I, we went to a Brazilian steakhouse. Right.
Good choice.
Great, dude. Meat off the chain, bro.
Was it one of those like you flip the card like a?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I
they
love
come
it.
next to you and they
That was the
eat
first
that
time.
shit off. That shit was awesome.
That was the first time.
Yeah, first time I've ever been. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to one locally,
was-
but I drove all the way up to hang out with the boys. So
There you go.
It was nice.
I think our ladies put it all together, but yeah,
For sure.
It was cool. First time for me.
Yeah. And
We got a first timer. I like it.
yeah. And let me tell you, dude, that next day, bro, was miserable. I shit you not, dude. This is gonna sound insane, but we're playing like the first point of the day, right?
Well, you had to play after you had all the meat.
We had to play the next day.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we
God.
practiced.
That's where you fucked
Bro,
up.
so bad, bro. I
my
shit
God.
you not, bro.
No, you
we're
did
doing our
shit probably multiple times.
Dude, 4 a.m. comes, shitting.
God.
6:30 comes, shitting.
meat
right
shits.
before I leave the
Ugh.
house, shitting. Bad. So we play the first point. We play the first point, dude. We play the first point, and I'm like in like the 50 snake. We're playing the old layout, right? The one that just happened.
Did you shit your pants? Just tell us right now.
Dude, no, almost, dude.
Okay, I got a story.
Dude, I'm like, if we're talking about shit stories, yeah,
God, what the
bro,
fuck?
I got you, dude. But
Podcast took a
playing,
turn.
and then I'm like the last one alive. I'm like really trying to get I'm getting real small, trying to like creep walk down the field. And Brando comes, fuck me up, and I'm like, yo. The second he shoots me, I'm running to the bathroom, like off the field. I'm like, I gotta go, dude. Like it was bad. Like
Did he
almost,
fucking shoot
It's
you
a
in your
mental game
intestine?
from there.
dude, I almost lost it. And I was almost that fucking guy that shit himself at the field. There's no way it could be me, bro.
I went to a tryout once and the guy shit his pants and I was like, you gonna keep playing or what? He's like, I shit my pants. But we did stay up in Detroit and party, but I was a kid at the time, but he shit his pants. I couldn't believe it. He played, I won't say his name, but he played for Atomics at the time. Steve Casella will vouch for this, and he knows too. Steve Farkas, if you guys know who that is, but he's an OG from back in the day. Sam knows him. Good friend of ours. He doesn't play paintball anymore. Sometimes he does for fun and everything else from Detroit. Man, Detroit is a different place. Shout out Lone Wolf Paintball, but this kid from Atomics shit his pants and sat there all day long at a tryout. I thought he was going to go into tears, but at the same time, I was just a kid and I didn't even know any better. And now I think back, I'm like, man, that dude just shit his pants.
That man's stronger than me, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
that-
he
dude.
didn't say a word. He just shit his pants and sat there. He took a shit and fell back in it. Basically, that's we're gonna go with that one.
Holy fucking shit, dude.
God.
I've had some.
I'll tell you a funny. I'll tell you a funny story. Me,
let's hear it.
Marky, Ryan Smith, and Mr. French. Mr. French is from Paris. He's a grave digger, but he also works for HK. He takes us out. We go to the last French event, or the first French event of the year, and we literally go out. We're drinking. We're there a couple days in advance, and we literally are playing darts. I hit 3 bullseyes in a row. This guy comes up to me and he says, "I'm the number 2 French player in all of France. I will play you tomorrow. Meet me here." Gives us like a card. Marky's like, "Hell yeah, he will." I look at Mark. I'm like, "Dude, I don't play darts like that. I just got
Why are
lucky."
you
He's
running
like,
checks for me? Like now I gotta cash
and
these.
he's like, "You're doing it today for the video." And I'm like, we go to the next bar. Somebody is already. They already know. Like we walk in. He's like, "This is the guy," and they're like, "You're gonna play him tomorrow?" And I'm like, "What the fuck? Dude, this is darts."
It's going down. It's already circling.
We're drinking heavy too, and it's bad. And me, Marky, and Mr. French is our sober driver who knows like where to go and everything else. So he's like, these people say something in France or in French, and we literally like, "Hey, we can't cross the bridge. We got to go a different way." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, there's 3 French gangsters over there, and they're macing you if you don't pay them. And I was like, oh, I got to play darts tomorrow. Like, what do you mean? Like, these guys aren't going to stop us. He's like, no, we're going to go another way. I was like, absolutely not. I walk right up, and I just start fighting all 3 of them. And I did not care about the mace or anything else.
Oh,
and I actually broke my pinky. Like, right, it's still kind of broken. I broke my pinky on the face.
Yeah, broken fingers, you just carry them for life. Like, I got this one, and just,
I come back to the hotel, and I'm bleeding. But Marky said, that's the closest he ever been to a fight. And then he's swinging his camera up against the wall. But he's like, dude, you just jumped in there and didn't care. And I was like, these guys aren't going to rob us. Like, I don't give a shit who they are. But all we want to do is go to our car. And Mr. French is like, it's okay. And Mr. French is not a small guy. But I was not putting up with it. I just started fighting them all. I didn't care. And, yeah. It was pretty funny because, well, they didn't get our money, and nor did they mace us. So
yeah, it did not work out the way
we
they
made
were
it to our
thinking.
car, made it back to our hotel. So I'll leave it at that. So Mr. French still tells it. He was in Atlantic City. He was telling that story, and I still have a broken pinky, and Marky didn't punch anybody, but it's all right though. Brian Smith did.
Marky was there.
Brian Smith did.
You just come out with a broken pinky, and you're just like, you should see the other guy.
And we won the event, and when my pinky was broken, I was playing, and my pinky was stuck like this. But it's okay though, because we won the event.
Like different ways.
Everything was worth it.
That's
I
high
was
class,
serving
bro.
tea, just not this way. It was a different
high
situation.
Class, bro. That's high class. Pinky
I tell you what, I felt, and Marky told me that was the closest he'd been to a fight ever in his life, and I'm like, all right, as long as we were okay, I didn't care, but I just started beating the piss out of these kids, so I didn't care.
Nice. Dude, that is fucking amazing.
I do.
No, it was fun. It was a good time.
That is not necessarily that story in particular, but stories like that are things I've heard from a lot of the guys who went over in like those early days of paintball, where it was like, it's you and 3 of your teammates, and then just, random guys you don't really know all that well. And a lot of those guys end up getting into bar fights from the sounds of it, from the stories that are told through different podcasts, through different guys, talking with them at events and stuff. It's there were wild times back then. You could kind of just get away with whatever. And nowadays everything gets filmed and recorded.
Yeah, my biggest thing is like you always see like people talking shit on the field, and I'm like, this guy doesn't want to do that. And some people are like, no, that guy's for real. And it's like Miami Rage, like those guys are for real. Like back in the day, oh my God, they'd punch you right in the head and not give 2 shits. So it's like you're either backing up or you're getting in, but you kind of got to know you read the room. But I had enough booze in me that gave me enough strength to whatever they wanted.
That liquid courage, bro. That liquid courage.
I tell you what. So Keith Brown, he'd been in. Me and him, we had to fight some people one time in a bar. That was a good time. So
yeah, you got to survive.
Amazing.
You're in foreign lands. You got no reinforcement. No one coming to help you out.
Yeah, I tell you
gotta
what,
make it out alive.
You bond that way, or it is what it is, or just be a good person. Nobody really wants to fight anybody. It just is what it is. I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, listen, I'm not trying to do all that. So
that reminds me of that Joey Diaz clip where he's like, you don't need an army. You just need 3 bad motherfuckers to take over a country.
Exactly. Yeah, when he says that shit, like he's right. Like, because most people, they just want to talk about it. They don't want to be about it, and it is what it is. But at the same time, it's At that moment, I didn't give a shit. I look back at it, and I'm like, whoa, like I could have been really messed up right there.
A little bit. Yeah, looking back, things could have went.
Luck's been on my side, so it works out.
Sometimes you gotta be balls deep with the boys.
That's how you bond. That's how you bond.
No, Diddy, pause.
No, that's what it is. Balls deep with the boys. I'm gonna make
balls deep with the boys.
Dude,
God.
Like, yeah, balls deep with the boys.
Let's go.
You just find the code word of the week here.
I think you did. It's our most fucking sus one yet. But all right, let's go. How the fuck do I segue away from that, guys? Thank you, Ash. Well, yeah, guys.
You win some, you lose a lot. Yep. On to the next.
Yeah, so, speaking of balls deep with the boys, Chad, this year you're playing paintball with the boys, Houston Heat. It's been kind of I would say, a middling season for you guys. There's been, some successes. You guys are definitely doing good in prelims. You're making it through.
It's absolute shit.
And I know, because that's exactly the conversation I had with Scott before. If you're not winning, it's not great. What I guess from the outside perspective, that's what I would say on the team is, you guys, there's progress being made and it looks like good things are happening, but it's not coming together on Sunday.
There's no progress being made. It's going backwards. We're sitting number 2 right now in the world. Fuck it. That's not what we intend on. We want to be sitting number 1. If we don't win a tournament, it's a disappointment. There's a lot of money and time and everything else and effort spent into it. We've had seasons like this. We also finished and win the World Cup, take a series title and everything else. There's a very, very elite group of people who are playing the sport right now. It is not going to be easy. It will be failing if we don't win an event. It will be a Band-Aid if we don't win 2 events. Like, it is just the only thing we can think about, and it's everything else. And we're like, it's honestly like, it's embarrassing because we have fans and, you know, our sponsors rely on everything else. And it's like, that's not who we are. The time and effort and the money that Randy Smith believes in us, and he gives us enough to be that team to go and win, and he wants the best out of us, and he doesn't ask us for anything other than just to go and be happy and win, right? Like, he doesn't like, hey, you know, you guys, like, in COVID, we were the only team to still be taken care of even when we didn't play, because he still loved us enough to be like, hey, I just want you guys to be happy and play paintball. So we owe it to him, we owe it to our fans, we owe it to ourselves. And it's like, we have to go out there and win. If we don't, then it's just a disappointment. So, like, there's no candy coating or anything else. We have to work harder. We have to be a better team. And it's just like, that's what we have to put on our shoulders. If we don't, then it's not very successful. And that's not who we are. I wouldn't have these trophies right here behind me if we didn't have that mentality.
No, 100%. And I know, you know, that's something that if you listen to this podcast long enough, you'll hear that from a lot of guys who are like, you know, fuck it. The only good outcome is a trophy in my hand. If that doesn't happen, fuck it. It was not worth our time to go there then. But I, you know, I do also have to say, you know, this is a genuine question. How do you do that in 2024 paintball? I mean, it is just, it comes to a point where every team is deadly. Every team is a hard, you have to take serious. Whereas, let's be real, 2015, 2014, you could have matches where, all right, guys, you know, let's be serious, but we're probably going to win this game. We already know that going into it. And it's just, that's not the way the division is nowadays.
No, and I've talked a lot of shit, like, in my career and everything else, and it's like, I will shit on somebody on any given Sunday or anything else, and it's like, because I take great pride in exactly, like, I know how hard we do work. But at the same time, like you said, it's 2024. Like, there's a lot of good teams. The Russians were literally like on their shit. They got laughed off the block, and now they're back. And it's like, they're making adjustments and everything else. It's how well, like, who's going to be the next Yankees or the Boston Red Sox, or, you know, who's the next Randy Johnson that's going to pitch the next perfect game, right? But what these people don't understand is there's so many variables in this game. You have to have the best paint. And HK supplies us right now with the best paint. Like, yeah, we might be selling for $20 a case and everything else, but at the same time, it is truly the best paint. They just won the last 2 events. It's hard to come by if you don't have the best paint. It's 50% of the battle. If any team out there wants to know anything else, 50% of the battle is the paint. Your sponsors, everybody else, and you literally have to be on point. Like, imagine if it's raining, imagine if you're getting a bunch of penalties or anything else, the players have to be on point. The stars have to align. Right now, the Russians had their weekend. They got 2 events. I've been in that position. It's a great position. They own the summer. Everybody is hunting them. Nobody's thinking about Dynasty and everything that they've done the last 4 years. Nobody's thinking about, like, you know, where Aftershock got to the finals, anything else. They're led by great people. They're hyped up and everything else. And, like, they're doing great things right now. And I'm actually happy for them because I like Tad Adams and Todd Martinez a lot. It's what you're doing at that time, and that's all they remember you by, right? That's why when you win the World Cup and everything else, like, you get the whole offseason to shit on everyone and how big your sponsors are. Our biggest thing is to make sure we go and handle business for the rest of the season. That's the only thing on our minds. And literally, like, even like talking to the guys today, Connor having his baby and everything else, he's ready to go back and start helping the team win. Tyler Harmon puts it on his shoulders. Ronnie works all the time. And it's like, man, like, how do you not want to win? Randy, all he does, and this dude could do anything he wants in the world, and he loves us so much and takes care of us so much that we owe it to him to win. Mama D is the same way. And it's just like, how do you not want to win? And it's like, how, like, can we go and do that? The stars have to align. Our time will come. We know it. But at the same time, it takes a lot of hard work. So we're ready for it. We put it on our shoulders plenty of times. This team's been together for a long time. I couldn't be more proud to even, like, not only just put this team together, but at the same time, be a part of it. So I'm ready for it. I'm excited for it. It gives me goosebumps and everything else. And I'm ready.
Fair. Yeah. No, yeah. I think that's a very, you know, valid way to handle that. I think that is a disconnect that I have seen, you know, being, let's say, like, the go-between between pro paintball guys and some of the general audience of paintball is the dedication, but also the, you know, the mental, I guess, how much is put in mentally. You know, let's talk about DMG when, you know, those guys were up and I was doing Rebirth. You know, Dylan Boyum lived at 8, slept, and did everything he could to play paintball as often as he could. He wasn't in a position where he got much help to do that. And so that meant, you know, working during his week and having his weekends. But when, you know, when guys would be like, oh, DMG sucks, you know, they don't care, they aren't even, like, trying. I can
Do you
guarantee
think
you,
anyone even knows that DMG used to beat the shit out of everybody in semi-pro?
they fucking did, because I
They
was
won
also there
that
filming
spot
that shit.
convincingly,
But
right?
I will say half of that team is now on Aftershock and Infamous and other teams around the league. But you know, I guess the point I was trying to make there was it doesn't matter even if it's, you know, the 20th team that's getting relegated. That game still is their entire life. And, you know, just because the results on paper aren't what the audience wants to see doesn't mean they don't care internally, and they aren't freaking out internally saying, what the fuck? Like, you know, we are trying our hardest. We are doing practice. Why can't we make any ground against these teams?
Absolutely. And like I said, it's a game of variables. The refs, the players, like everything has to be on point. The weather, anything and everything. Like it literally, like we saw what Dallas did. It shut everything down. And what these teams do, give them more time to practice and everything else. Like we went and had extra practice, and it was like shit. We had the luxury of doing that, but same time we weren't like successful with it. So it's like shit. But every event, like the more you prepare and everything else, like you have to have that mentality that like and I've noticed this, if you don't prepare correctly, you start coming up with excuses. A lot of teams do that shit. A lot of teams are not successful. A lot of teams haven't won. A lot of teams are just trying to fight to get to Sunday. And you know what? We're fighting to win a tournament. That's the only thing on our mind, just winning a tournament. Go look at our prelim like record right now. It is very, very positive. And if like we went off that, it is what it is. But it's a whole new day on Sunday. One little thing could happen. You make the wrong run. You have the wrong paint. The weather's bad. The refs pulling penalties or anything else. The wrong decision can be made in the pit. Like you could literally send out the wrong guy. It's like it's so
funny
many variables.
from that, you know, kind of a sports philosophy standpoint. It's almost the opposite of baseball. Whereas in baseball, you have multiple chances throughout almost a whole entire year to prove you are the best team and that you should be, you know, in the playoffs in October and winning the series.
Yeah.
Whereas in paintball, you get one day to do that. You get to have your 2 days to cement that you should be there, and then you get to, all right, make your run. Go prove it. And there's just so many variables with this sport, and you know, variables is the right word because there's just so many things that you just can't control. And it just, the way, you know, the funding we have, the scheduling that we have, you know, things that we're not going to be able to change this year, next year, or potentially even a couple years in the future. Maybe someday we have the NFL where, you know, we have full days to play games. Yes, that all could potentially happen. But at this current moment, that's pipe dream type stuff. You know, we're talking 10, 15 years till stuff like that could even potentially start to come in. So
100%.
We're seeing the sports, kind of the mental aspects
Hang on, hold
of
that
it.
thought. I had 3 beers and I got to go to the bathroom real quick.
God damn it, Chad. We're losing him again.
Brother, all good.
But I mean, for our audience, just kind of, you know, finish off my note is it is different from a athletic mental standpoint. You know, the mental energy and the way that you have to kind of believe in yourself just so fully going into that Sunday. Because if there's any crack in your armor, a team is going to expose it instantly, and you're not going to be playing on the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, one thing we're learning as a bottom echelon semi-pro team, I'm gonna say it right, fucking cut and dry, say it. Dude, there are we are very close to winning our matches. Like every single one of our matches is dude, we lost 3 overtime matches in the last event. Right, we're close. We're just making literally one mistake or like a penalty happens early on to where at that point we're chasing.
Mm-hmm. And you're
Right.
kind of behind the chains, as we would say in football, but it's
Exactly,
like you're
right.
behind the game, and now you have to do more to kind of come back and take over, and,
Right.
and yeah, it's just.
And so one thing that I'm trying to tell our coach to like implement more is like having legitimate our scenarios being randomly timed, right? Be like, all right, we're playing 5-on-5. The scenario is you're down 2 points and you have a minute 58. Yeah, you have 3 minutes to work with. You know what I'm saying? Like those kind of exact scenarios where it's like, all right, the time stops. Now you got your first point in 37 seconds. Now you have X amount of time to go get the next point, right? To tie it up.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's one of those ways you can work on, you know, what we just said, those moments that you can't fully control in a game. You know, a penalty comes that first point, now you're already down 0-1, and you know, it's not necessarily anyone's fault. You didn't necessarily get beat on the point, but you fucked up and now you're behind, and you gotta, you know, you have to know how to play from that and how to play out of that. But again, you know, you're talking about DMG, I would consider you guys like a 2.5 star prestige right now. You know, not
Thank
bottom,
you, bro.
because I
Appreciate that.
know
That's a
you
lot of
always
credit.
say bottom. But I think the thing is with DMG and something that it just really hurts me with seeing you guys play is there isn't a strong enough core group of guys that should be playing semi-pro yet. And this is something that I think comes from the lack of recruits that can come into DMG.
Are you saying with DMG, you're saying?
Yeah, I think there's, I mean, these 2 guys here, Paul, there's other people on that roster. You know, I'm not gonna like name names and make anyone feel bad, but there's guys on that roster that are ready for semi-pro. And then there's guys that are just unfortunately aren't, and that's not on them. They need to get better and build there. So they're in this weird position of, if we're playing semi-pro, we're still learning and trying to get to semi-pro level, but some of us know how to play there. It's kind of this mismatch, and that's what I've seen from DMG is, it's, there are guys there who are ready for that level, and then there's guys there who aren't fully, and it's, almost catching those guys up is kind of limiting the progression of the guys who are now ready for that, if that makes sense. And it's not shitting down on them or anything like that, because a lot of those guys are players who just have not had time to play summer pro. It's their first season. They need to develop and have time to grow. That's I guess the best thing for me looking in that I've started to notice with DMG.
Is Dave Bain still involved with DMG right now?
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
Then you'll be successful. Just trust in this process.
I'm sorry, Chad, but I do have to rebuttal that a little bit. There's been a lot of changes with the Capital Edge program and DMG, and it's actually something that, I've been with the program since 2017. That was the first event that I was, intimately with them filming.
Yeah, so you've been through it.
And
yeah.
There's a lot of differences this year.
Rebuild.
And again, I'm not here to talk down or say anything, but it's just, I've noticed changes. And so I would like to believe that could come to fruition again. But, I also want the best for my boys.
Out of us. It's way more out of us. And we have to, these problems, we have to solve them ourselves, right? It's not because dude, Dave Baines, he's worried about impact, bro. That's his fucking team. They're exactly right. So I completely understand that. And, right, obviously,
do you guys get to play against Impact?
We there's sometimes where we do the 3 pro team, triangle.
In all honesty, Chad, they've practiced against the top level teams way less than former DMG rosters.
For sure,
okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, that's on my next question.
Let's be real. 2017 semi-pro was playing Impact every single weekend, whereas you guys get to play them maybe twice a year now. I hate to say it, maybe 3 or 4 times. When they come out, so you're still playing them, you're getting reps, but
because to be fair, I think Dynasty and Impact are doing this thing where it's sometimes they'll go out to practice another team. Sometimes they'll go to I think they went to Baltimore to practice Revo or something like that.
Yeah.
And that could be a sponsor thing or whatever, maybe, or wherever the
I don't know
anything else.
Yeah, I don't know the whole
there's
story.
a lot of variants. I get it, and whatever history and everything else. I don't know it all. I will say this though, Dave does have a good history, and he could ride it till the day he DIEs or anything else. But I will say that he knows how to win, but at the same time, you're given the cards that you're dealt and everything else. So I'll stay behind that. And it's me and Dave, it's not even we saw eye to eye on everything else. We've battled for a long time, but I've just known that guys that he's had in his programs or anything else, or even guys that he's found, it's he knows good talent or anything else, or he's given that proper, practice to or anything else.
Don't get me wrong. He definitely provides infrastructure and for support for DMG.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
my
biggest thing is this: if something's provided to you, just take advantage of the opportunity, right? If you get the opportunity twice a year, take advantage of it. Ask as many questions as you can. And like you said, you guys have been in the pros, and it's even with the Boy brothers, those dudes are 2 badass dudes that are not gonna back down anything. Do you guys have them right now? No, but those guys all grew up in the same program and everything else, and even Shane Howe, that dude is a fucking he's so sweet, and it's there's so many good positive things that you guys have had that you can never look back and be hey, this sucks. There's some teams that are gonna go like that. There's some guys that are gonna end their careers that never even made to fucking Sunday, and it's crazy to me because I've had teammates like that.
Chad, I gotta debate you a little bit here, buddy, because
I'm okay with that.
I all those names you just mentioned, I haven't seen at Capital Edge in the past year. And it's just because they've had to go separate ways. They've had their other opportunities come. And it's not saying that those guys, we have days where it's 5s with, Tim Brusselback, Jordan Boyum, these guys, and, some other cool guys, Shane Howe from the area. Greg even comes out a little bit. Yeah,
if they're not with the program, there's no reason for them to keep coming,
Exactly. But I think that's also, I think people do kind of look at DMG and say, you guys have all this support. Honestly, they don't anymore. They still do from the infrastructure side,
where it went sideways in the
from
first
the
place,
players' side. Yeah, from the, there's not as many of ththese guys. Marv's still there, a guy who has good pro experience, who knows what he's talking about. But
absolutely,
those guys are starting
to fall off. A lot of the support is
off.
we're at the point where we're building up as much as we possibly can, where it's a true, even more than what the old title was, is we are a genuine, a rebirth of DMG.
Okay, I'll say this in
a completely different sense.
And I'll say this as we're in this debate. Level up. What happened when they started getting better? they start getting picked apart like cherries. What happened to your guys like start getting better? And it sucks because like, and I'm on the positive side of it and everything else, but like I've been on the negative side of, hey, you have a top tier team and guys want an opportunity to win a pro tournament, or they want to go play for a team that's going to pay them, or that might not even be their situation, or whatever it may be. Who's on the team now that came from D&D? Tyler to Impact? Is that his name? Tyler?
Yeah.
Tyler. For example,
but again,
you guys
Tyler
had everything else.
played with the pro team. He didn't play with these guys in D3. So like that's the thing. There's literally been a hard split of that old DMG roster that is now,
absolutely,
as they deserved, going to other spots and other opportunities. And this new semi-pro roster, which is essentially a D3 roster from 3 years ago that has now kind of been thrown into the fire and gotten a lot better. Don't fucking get me wrong. Like a lot of these guys have improved, but
we used to suck. We used to really suck.
Well, credits given, credits too, but at the same time, like, and you guys learned the pro division is no fucking joke and everything else. You guys went through a lot of struggles of losing players and other players going to other places, or even Dave taking whatever player you wanted from your team and then putting him on his team, right? But at the same time, you know, it's hard because in sports, like the teams like the Yankees or the Boston Red Sox, because they own a fucking TV station and they have all the money and then there's no cap or anything else, they can go take whoever they want. It's a double-sided coin and it sucks. And is there somebody that we want we go get? And
you're valid here. You guys are also one of the teams who get to do that.
That's what I'm saying. It's a positive situation. Luckily, we don't do that. You make a great
point there, because that is just sports in general. You know, not everyone can be the top dog who has the lineup they can pay whatever for.
But
you know,
at the same time though, you need teams like this, because this is why it's good for sports. This is why the sport is good, because here's a perfect example. You guys grow as a team and everything else. You have this player that needs time to develop. You need like a Connor Kelly that plays on the ML Kings to go get some time and some reps, right? I just put a kid on the Brooklyn Bears. I'm not going to mention his name because he's not going to go past that. But put him on the Brooklyn Bears because why? He's going to grow as a player because he needs reps. Is he getting reps on the team? No. That means he's probably not going to make it. It is what it is. But that's on him. He got that opportunity to get the reps, and now you have a team like Houston Heat that's just sitting and waiting. Joey from Tampa Bay Damage says that shit all the time. Oh, keep growing this player for me. I'm just gonna take him when I want. He's not fucking kidding, because that's what he's gonna do. He's got somebody's checkbook in his pocket, and he can go write whatever check he needs to get that guy, because he's gonna get more promised. That's sports. But at the same time, it sucks dick because those teams like Level Up or DMG that are getting picked apart like cherries, that's the nature of the beast. And it sucks too, because at the same time, you see these guys grow and everything else and they forget the loyalty. There's very little guys that are very loyal to their teams, and it's almost hurt them to be loyal.
Well, I think this exacerbates your point even more, and I think it really does light up. Chad, when was the last time that for a contract agreement you had to ref a game of paintball? 2010. DMG was doing that while they were in the pro division, and that was just their deal. And you know, and I'm not saying that's bad or anything.
Sounds like you guys are a better negotiator.
Dave Baines. That's all I can say. But no, it's just
he's a good negotiator.
He's a very good one. That's what I meant with that. But no, it's just like I think you're showing the difference in teams in the pro division that I think a lot of the average paintball player fan may not be aware of. You know, there's
the struggles and everything else.
Yeah, there's the guys getting paid to make, you know, to go play. That's awesome. There's the guys who are at least not paying to go play. You know, everything's taken care of. And then there's guys who are still buying their flight, who still have to work and make things happen to go and play in that same division with the people who are, you know, taken care of, or, you know, all yada yada, all the different circumstances.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is that, I'm lucky enough to be on this side of the coin now and everything else.
Oh, and I'm not attacking you for that at all. I'm just saying, you know, that's the reality of it. That's how the story goes.
Correct. And that's just how the stars have aligned for me, and I'm lucky enough to have that opportunity, because it's like you can never take it for granted, because I could just be right back at the bottom, like no matter what. I could break my leg, never play in Houston again, then, you know, be stuck. Just
don't do that, please. I don't wish that at all.
But I mean, like, I'm saying though, is like anything could happen, and luckily I am like blessed enough to be in this position. I do try to take advantage of the platform that I'm put on, in a positive way, not like trying to be a dick or negative or anything like that. But at the same time, it sucks because teams that are Danny Schoenhauer is a good example. Yeah. Came from Level Up, great kid, great guy, and everything else. Came from a team that didn't have a lot, wasn't winning anything. They came from the bottom, and then Pando put everything on the line for these kids and built them a program so they could have it. And then the second he gets a chance to peace out, he pieces out. What's Pando do? He says, "All right, I'm over this. I'm sick of my guys getting picked like cherries." Pieces out. Mm-hmm. So it sucks.
I will
but
say
that's where the loyalty comes
when the
in.
blue dragon calls your number, it is hard to not take that call. But I mean, that's, you know, kind of, we were going back to that earlier. We were talking about loyalty with, you know, Bruno and, you know, kind of some of the early Aftershock days where we were like, you know, this is my family. This is what I committed to. I'm going to commit to this and do good by these guys.
Yeah. And it's just really what do you want in your life? You could be great in life financially, not need anything from paintball or anything else, but you could also be a kid who just came up through paintball and all you have is paintball and you need money from paintball. So it's like whatever route you take, and it is what it is. But you learn that along the way, or I have, and I've gotten lucky with it and everything else. And like I said, I couldn't be more blessed. Like the information that I give, or the shit that everybody thinks I'm talking, or I did a podcast at the beginning of the year and I'm telling everybody like exactly like how I see it and everything else. And everybody's like, oh, you're a dick, you talk shit. Some guy messaged me the other day. He's like, man, you realize like your podcast was literally 1000% like correct. And I'm like, that doesn't matter to me. It's just what I know, and it's only because of experience. And it sucks because a lot of it isn't like a positive situation for a lot of players. And it's like, be loyal, like everything else, and like, you know, be the guy, be the best teammate you can, everything else. I can tell you all that, but then that could bite you in the ass. So it's flip of the coin, what makes your heart happy and everything else. I've had guys leave like my divisional team. I give two shits because I'm like, all right, like you're replaceable, but at the same time I'm like, hey, if you're happy, I'm happy. And they don't know what to say to it, but like, I don't want somebody there that's negative. I want somebody there to be because they want to be there. And it's like, that's how you should be in your pro team. If you're not happy there, then go somewhere else. So, or go play in a divisional team.
Well, and I mean, you're also not helping the team at all. You know, it's really easy to see when you know, have that divisional team where you can see the guys who are, they bought in, they fucking love it. And then the couple guys sitting on the outside who are, you know, almost doing more to hurt the team than ever helping the team. So
absolutely,
yeah, a bunch of bitches.
And it's a different world because sports is crazy, but at the same time, it's like you don't like in most major league or like professional sports, like it's all controlled by the media, and you only get to see, and like you're not allowed to say certain things. The league will fine you, and that's a lot of money that those guys aren't trying to like lose. The league's not going to fine anybody for talking shit or doing whatever, right? But at the same time, you get these people who are on Instagram or anything else, and they say whatever they want, and then you're invested. Then you're like, all right, I want to see this person win, or I want to see this person lose, and that's where you got to decide: back it up, or get in. And it's like,
you gotta
it's
sell a fight. You know, you got to cut the promo. I mean, it's old school shit, but dude, I didn't pay for it, but I turned on Stream East and watched Jake Paul fight Mike Perry the other night.
Because you're invested.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be honest, I was not really invested, but I was like, people are talking about this. Yeah, all right, let's go tune on and watch it, you know? And so, I guess that's a great, you know, I wasn't like, fucking, I'm watching every fight, this is my card, but, you know, them being able to talk shit and to create drama and hype around their event pulled in, all right, another set of eyes. Probably pulled in a couple million other sets of eyes as well, doing shit like that.
And he says half the shit that he says because he knows at the end of the day, you're talking about me, you either hate me or love me, but either way, it's still money in the bank. So it's like,
look, I honestly, people could hate me for this, but I actually have a lot of respect for Jake Paul. Just look, those two brothers, they have a way to make you care about things that you normally would not give a single shit about. And I hate to say it, but that is a talent. That is a skill. Jake Paul is fucking a WWE fighter all of a sudden out of nowhere. Or not Jake Paul, Logan, his brother. Yeah. Because he's fucking...
And he's got a podcast and he's got an energy drink and he's like, shit.
But all of that, all those things you just mentioned, the only thing they do is promote Prime, which is his energy, you know, his hydration drink, which is going to retire him for the rest of his life. And he knows that. Absolutely. So he knows if I work on these other ventures, I'm going to be taken care of for the rest of my life because of this other adventure I made. And honestly, I respect them for that because that's being a good businessman, you know, and there is kind of something to that. They're kind of assholes. I can 100% admit that. They're, you know, they've done some dickhead things over the years, but watching Jake actually get tagged up quite a lot of times by a dude in a fight and not going to second round and knocking someone out. All right, I respect him a little bit for that, you know? Dude definitely got knocked in the face a couple times and had that look of like, this is a fight. Oh shit, I have not done many of these.
Someone's about to unplug the lights, you know? Someone's about to unplug the lights.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I just thought that was something, you know, it's similar in sports with that, you know, kind of, you gotta sell it. You gotta make someone give a shit about what you're doing. Maddie's talked about that for years, you know? No one wakes up and cares about something. You gotta make them care.
100%.
So, All right, guys. Well, with that lovely, Jake and Logan Paul note, I think that is a place where we can start to bring this show on home. But before we do that, we got a couple things we got to take care of before that. So, Chad, one thing we do every week with our guests is we kind of let them have a final thoughts type moment. So maybe, if you want to shout out your Instagram, maybe shout out some things you got going on or something, happen in the future. Maybe you thought of something earlier you didn't get to mention on the show. Feel free to kind of, take this whatever way you want. But yeah, kind of your final thoughts for episode 104, our 2-year anniversary.
I will say, guys, thanks for having me on the show. It was honestly a pleasure. You guys let me crank some beers and, hang out with my dogs and be good with it while my wife's at work and everything else. But I appreciate you guys having me on the show. Like I said,
thank you, man. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, bro, seriously.
The biggest thing is you guys keep pumping away. Like, don't stop. Like, don't get deterred by anything, or if the money's not coming in or anything else. But just stay positive with it and keep driving with it. That's my biggest thing for people in paintball, people with like you guys doing the podcast
Chad,
and everything else.
You think we make money here?
No, but I think that you guys are having I figured that out when he was empty on his liquid IV when he went to go grab one.
It happens. We'll get more sponsor packages.
Yeah.
All right, that's the one thing we can get.
Yeah. Maybe take a few more drinks of a couple more drinks with the liquid IV and it might work out. But no, the biggest thing is you guys keep driving and keep doing, like you said, you're on your 200th episode? Or right
104, so 2 years.
104.
Okay, 104. So get to 200, make that a goal, right? And then compete and make it a goal of your guys' and keep talking about paintball and keep spreading the good word. I want to thank DLX with Adam Gardner, HK, Markey, Brandon, Fort, Jay, Myers, all those guys, Bretto. The owners of Houston Heat, I would never be anywhere in my career or even probably sitting here in my house right now in South Carolina. And shout out to my wife for always being supportive and my 2 little puppies. I love them all. So I appreciate you guys. And I couldn't be more proud to be part of this sport.
Well,
yeah, brother. It's amazing.
Awesome, Chad. Glad to hear that. Brandon, real quick, let you get your final thoughts for the episode.
Appreciate you coming on. I loved hearing you talk about like just all the insight that you have. A bunch of podcasts that you said yourself you talk shit. Other podcasts you've been on, you talk shit, but I feel that
I never think I am until after I listen to it and I'm like, fuck, why did I say that? And I'm like, fuck it, you gotta own it from there, right?
I was gonna say, I think this is the most tame I've seen Chad. Like, this has just been cool, knowledgeable insights.
I got beers in me.
This is awesome.
Dude, it's been a lot more insightful and everything. I've enjoyed listening to it.
Because you don't fucking talk, Brandon.
Yeah, come on, bro. Fuck.
Dude, even though my ears are muffled right now with the sickness I got right now, I loved hearing it. I just appreciate you being on.
Hey, thank you.
He's riding it out in the no AC hot ass room, sweating it out. Exactly.
In the sauna.
Well, yeah. Hatch, you know what time it is, buddy. What's your final thoughts for the show?
Well, let me just say, Chad, thank you for coming on. Seriously, appreciate it. I'm glad I got to talk with you a little bit at the pro pits at AC, so that was obviously really cool. Got that funny little picture of you.
Oh, dude, that was the best.
Shit's lit. But yeah, it was very insightful. Thank you, bro. I think the way you were talking about some of the things, like way we run DMG and stuff like that, just like your insight with everything that you've seen throughout your career in the pro league, really does get me, dude. It gets me thinking, gets my head turning, gets my gears going. So, dude, I appreciate you seriously for sacrificing your time to be here.
Thank you, guys.
Seriously.
Well, yeah, man. As our listeners of the show know, we got 2 things that we do at the end of every single show, and that is a code word of the week, which I think we came up with earlier in the show. What is the code word of the week, Catch?
Balls deep for the boys.
There it is.
Hell yeah.
Deep for the boys. Gotta love that. So yeah, if you just checked us out tonight to listen to Chad, we appreciate you for stopping by. The code word of the week is a system we use every week just to know that you made it to this point, the end of the show, and you listened all the way through. So put it in a DM, drop it in a comment somewhere. Let us know that you were checking out the show, and we're balls deep for the boys. That's a great one this week. Brandon, we also need a cool guy of the week.
Dude, cool guy of the week, sending it right now. Hatch, you're going to appreciate this. This is a 72-year-old Montana man, fights off a grizzly bear and kills it.
Is this actually
A
killing the
New
bear?
York Post article, I believe this.
Dude, no, settle down. He's in the wilderness. He's picking berries. Why do you think he's going to film himself? No. But But this is a 72-year-old man just out there picking berries, fishing and shit when he comes across a mama bear and 2 cubs. Or they come across him because, he's deadly now.
So,
dude, this happened
how
like
does this
3 or
end?
4 days ago.
How does this end, Brandon?
He kills the bear. He kills the bear.
I kept reading
Kill
through.
that.
I was
It looks like it's mounted
yes.
up on him.
Yes, he kills the bear.
Fuck yeah.
Straight up says,
He's a new bear hunter. He's a new bear hunter.
Bare
He
hands?
fought off and
Did he
killed
have
a
a
grizzly
weapon?
bear. He had berries. He had huckleberries. Hell yeah.
This is literally a question that we've asked multiple people on the show:
Yes.
is could you survive against a brown bear? And this man fucking did. So okay, all right. That actually.
wait, where's the I want to see the video.
He did
of
have
him
a
fucking this
handgun.
bear up.
There's
He did
no
have a
video.
handgun.
Hatch.
Oh.
There's no video. It's a story article.
Picture. Like I said, yeah.
Come the fuck
Like I
on.
said, it looks like that bear's mounted up on him. So I'm gonna believe you on this one.
Look, there was a struggle.
Does the New York Post ever
and
lie?
Absolutely not. Never.
No
never.
way, dude.
He
No,
said no
nope.
way.
No way,
I
dude.
100% believe. All right. Well, yeah. Do we have a name for our bear victim or not
No,
victim?
no, he wants to be anonymous.
He's a humble man.
Just
what a humble man.
72-year-old Montana
His
man.
name's
Anonymous
Billy. What's his name?
72-year-old Montana man. You are our
Billy from
cool guy
Montana.
of the week. This is a salute to
Billy
you.
from Montana.
Wait, what was it?
Goddamn.
Billy from
It was
Montana.
Billy? All right, cool. There we go. Billy from Montana.
Basically.
God damn it,
What a
Chad.
fucking
All right,
beast, bro.
let's
Holy
finish this
shit.
show up. I gotta
Billy's
remind
a
you guys to
beast.
go ahead and rate the show. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, just drop a 5 stars. If you're on YouTube, like the show, hit the subscribe button on all of those platforms or the follow on the audio ones. It'll just give you a notification when the next episode is live and ready to go. We also have the Patreon, patreon.com/Mafia_Productions. That's where you get access to early versions of the show as well as ad-free content and then bonus content when it is available. Always comes out there for our Patreons. We also have the merch website, XXV The Label. They do some awesome things down there. Michael Diaz and the team in Texas. We got the From the Sideline shirt. We also got some other stuff, the Stabbers Don't Get Stabbed merch, and some other cool designs down there. And last but not least, our 3 sponsors, Liquid IV. Head over to liquidiv.com. Use promo code Mafia_Moffitt to save 20% off at shipping. NECTR Energy, NECTR.energy is their website. Head over there. Use code MafiaProductions for a buy 2 get 1 free from them. And last but not least, Welts Clothing. 10% off at Welts Clothing using promo code FTS. All right, boys. Well, that's everything official for us, and yeah, we're done with this show. That is 2 years of podcast in the books.
Holy shit, dude.
I like it.
It's time to do it. For our special guest, Chad Yaya Bouchez, our co-host Brandon Baird, and Stephen Hatch. My name is Ryan Mafia Moffitt. We will catch you guys on episode 105 next week. Do that thing, Hatch.
Bye.
See you guys later.